to We Want Picks. My name is Jacob, aka the Freckled Salamander, here with my partner in crime, Angelo. We are here to give you a full card breakdown for UFC Vegas 76. Angelo, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit more about all the other things we have to offer?
Well, we're going to break down the entire UFC Vegas 76 fight card. We're going to give you the picks, the bets. We're going to give you the predictions. We're going to give you the DraftKings plays as well. We also unveiled something new in premium membership, and that is the Pick Doctor. The Pick Doctor. This is going to sound fake. I swear on everything I believe in. Doctor. This is not fake.
I'm already sick. Before you talk about it, I'm already fucking sick at this thing because
people are obsessed with it.
As soon as it was announced, Discord went crazy with, Jacob replacement. Oh, Jacob's getting fired. We don't need Jacob anymore. He's coming to replace. The bot's taking over his job. It's like, fuck this fucking bot. I'm over it. I'm gonna beat the shit out of it this week. There's no doubt about that.
So what happened was a nuclear physicist reached out to us. I thought it was a joke.
Another one, not me.
I thought it was a joke at first, but it wasn't. We had a few conversations. He says, I love the sport. I have these skills, blah, 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 blah. And he built a different tool.
Does
using
he know anything
AI
about
inside of it.
UFOs, aliens, anything like that?
Okay. Anyway, and I said, hey, that tool is awesome, but let's start with something a little easier to sell to get people used to this and you and all of that. Can you build an AI that just picks winners of fights? And he said, of course I can. So he built it a few weeks ago, and in the background, he's been sending results. So it did this, it did that. He loaded it with biometric data first. So for 2 events, that's all it had. Height, reach, age, all that. That's all it had for 2 events. It was picking at 8 out of 11, stuff like that. Then last weekend, he loaded in striking statistics. Went to every single fight in the history of the UFC in the last 10 years, pulled down all the striking stats and loaded it in. And we logged all the picks. On Tapology, we logged every single bet on Bet MMA Tips. We put $100 on every single one of those money lines. And here are the results. It went 11-1 on Tapology. It was number 2 in the entire world picking fights in Tapology. If you don't know what Tapology is, it's just a website that has fight results, this, that. It lets people create accounts and make predictions. So tens of thousands of people log their predictions for fights. And this freaking AI that doesn't have grappling, it doesn't even know grappling exists. This AI picked 11 fights correctly. It got 1 single fight wrong.
So not a perfect card.
Nope, not a perfect card. You have
okay. So I just want to make that clear because last year, almost on a year on the dot, so we are definitely due for a perfect card. I did have a perfect card.
You did have
and that bot would have got destroyed because I don't know if you remember what you went on that card, but it was.
I don't either. It was a year ago. And if we put $100 on every single pick, we would have been up $1,083, almost 11 units. This is a beta product. This is out. This is available for premium owners now, but it is beta. And as much as I want your money, do not sign up for premium membership only for this and then just tail this blindly. It is still in development.
It's going to fall flat on its fucking face this week. I'm going to destroy it.
The results so far have been astonishing, but it literally does not even know that grappling exists. It doesn't know. It has never seen a grappling stat. It has not. It doesn't have it loaded. And frankly, that secret sauce might be the grappling's the problem, but
I've always said the better striker in a mostly striking matchup, Angelo. There's motherfuckers taking everything I worked for. It literally is just copying what I said. What is this? What is this bot doing? It's trying to take my job with my own strategies.
It went 11-1. Think about some of the underdogs that it picked. That was a sketchy card. A sketchy card. The only one it missed was Chepe Mariscal. And it had no data. He never fought in the UFC. There's no striking data on that guy. So it made that pick solely off biometrics.
The Emmers pick. I mean, Jack Jacobs.
I
don't think
maybe
that fight. But.
Hey, it said that the Justin Tafa-Austin Lane fight was a 50-50 pick. That was a draw or a no contest. So anyway, the whole point of this is it's something new. It's something cool. We're working on it. It's still in development. It's been in the background quietly at like 80%, something like that. When it went 11-1, we said, all right, let's throw it out there. Make sure everybody knows this is beta. So be very, very careful with what you do with the information, because we're still
just
learning.
Another tool.
We're still figuring it out. It is a tool. And speaking of tools, the line movement tracker has been available and continues to be available for all premium members. There has been only one single fighter on this card that went from an underdog to a favorite. Only one. And that happened today. But there are 6 fighters that have had 20% or more. Line movement, keep an eye on that. Monitor your fighters, your spots, see what direction those are trending. We also have detailed data, metrics, analytics, anything you could ever want to go in there, do your research. Frankly, this is the way I would use the pick doctor, the AI for now, would be find my own spots and then mash them up against that. And if we're wildly different, maybe I'll take a step back and I'll use it more to hedge or to confirm what I got going on than to just blindly tail. But we'll see what happens.
How would you use me?
Mostly for clickbait views and stupid gags on Saturdays.
Gagging. Okay.
All that's available for literally only $10 a month. I mean, at this point, it's absolutely absurd. You know what we're creating, Jacob? We're creating a world where nobody can sell anything, because what we sell for $10 is just so unreasonable. Nobody can compete. We also, just last week or 2 weeks ago...
We are the children.
One of us is. We just added, Jacob, not a bot. Just saw the name. We also added courses. One of the biggest questions we get in the comments section from this video is, what are those DraftKings numbers? Well, that's DraftKings Fantasy. Our very first course is just a beginner's guide to that. What it is, how it works, how you can play it, how to make money, how to find your spots, how to have some fun. All of this, everything I've ever mentioned is available for premium members, and so much more that I don't mention because everybody bitches that the intro is too long. Let's go ahead.
What the fuck
and
is
talk
this
about
doctor doing? This bot just tweeted me in the middle of the podcast. The fuck's going on? It says, being so threatened by Pick GPT is cute. Enjoy any wins you get while you can get them. My baby won't be in beta for long, so you might not get many more opportunities. Follow the journey on We Will Picks. This thing's fucking trashing me on Twitter now.
First of all, Pick Doctor
Fuck this thing.
Pick Doctor is a human. That is a person. Pick GPT is the actual AI picking fights, but the person is the Pick Doctor. Anyway,
this motherfucker.
I'll send you guys $50. All you need to do is go to WeWantPicks.com/bets, sign up with any one of our betting partners using our links, make a deposit, and I will send you $50 as a thank you. That is WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit. They're going to pay me some money as an affiliate thank you. I'm going to break off some of that and give it right back to you. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Before we break down this card, we did have a couple of super chatterooskis, maybe just one. Here it is. Quint, $2 from
happy
Quint.
birthday, Quint.
Evening, boys. Ready for some good insight tonight? Well, we're ready to give it. Oh, somebody's watching our own stream. What's that about?
Just so I can put my tweet in the chat.
The live chat? Wow. What a guy.
On my phone real quick so people can see that tweet if they wanted to.
Let's go ahead and break down this card. Opening up the UFC Vegas 76 fight card, we have Guram Kutateladze taking on Elves Brener. I actually messaged Jacob earlier today saying this seems like a weird fight order. This seems like a big fight, but I guess nobody really cares about Guram unless you said nobody cares about Guram unless they follow the sport. So
casuals don't know who Guram is.
It's so funny that casuals is like the insult. Because if you called me a casual, all that means is like I have enough of a life to like focus on other shit.
So you admit you're a casual?
All day.
You're supposed to be an expert. Don't fucking say that. What
it's just
in the world?
Dumbest. It's the
Holy
dumbest.
Shit! I'm watching
insult.
UFC 24/7, 365, baby. I ain't no casual here.
And there we go. One of us has a life, and then the other one is not a casual. Anyway, we got Guram Kutateladze, 12-3 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off a razor-thin decision loss to Demir, who's also on this card. He's taking on Elves Brener, 14-3 overall. What are you laughing at?
No, I just who does he actually run this account? Because he knows how to.
He's trashing you.
He knows how to touch a nerve. No, he replied with the fucking just a gif of a man up.
He knows how to touch a nerve.
Crying.
Anyway, Elves Brener, 14-3 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is riding a 3-fight win streak. We all know Guram at this point. He's a nasty striker. He's got incredible kicks, good pressures, threatens with submissions if he is taken down. He has phenomenal takedown defense as well. And if he ends up on the ground, and if he's on top, or even if he's on bottom, he never settles in. His opponents never have a moment to like really try to make something happen. He's constantly working. Nobody gets any sort of meaningful control time on him. On his feet, he does have some power. He's very fast. He's a professional kickboxer by trade. And he's got 2 split decisions in the UFC, both super close. A win over Gamrot, and then that short notice loss to, the win over Gamrot was short notice, and then the loss to Demir. He has defended 17 takedowns in the UFC so far. He's taking on Elves Brener. Elves Brener is a grappler. He wants to get this to the ground, and that's what he needs to do to win. His striking is pretty loose, right? He's basically just buying time, avoiding being hit so they can go ahead and shoot a takedown and try to get something done. But the reality is he's not comfortable striking. At times you'll even see him turn his head, but he wants to get you to the ground. If he does get you to the ground, he is very dangerous. He's coming off that win over Zubaira, where he was a big underdog. He really needed more volume. I didn't think he had enough volume. I thought that decision was kind of a gift there, but he did take that win, and he was an underdog in that spot. This is Guram all day. I respect this line movement. I think this current line is probably accurate. Their striking differences on like the gap between skill sets on their feet is going to be miles apart. And then Elves doesn't have the wrestling to get him down. Guram struggled with it. Demir struggled with it, but Elves Brenner's going to take him down. So this is a very, very easy Guram spot. And I'll tell you what the stupid pick GPT picked after you go. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Oh, we're giving away all the AI picks?
I'm going to give this one away because this one's weird.
Oh, well, I think you just kind of gave it away in your own right there. But yeah, everything you said is correct. I mean, Guram is the big favorite for the reason. He's going to have the extreme striking advantage. But you need to understand, too, Guram's not like a super dangerous guy. So if people are chasing money because they see the minus 600 and they're like, oh my God, I can get him inside the distance for this or whatever it is, I would be careful with that because he's not really a finisher. And Brener is a tough dude. I mean, he is one of those shoot-the-box kids. He's not going to quit. He's not going to give up. He's going to keep coming forward. And Guram really doesn't have that one-hitter-quitter type of power. He can't lay down volume. And if Brener hurts, he will jump on him and obviously try to finish the fight. And he has those capabilities, but in the flow of a natural fight, not really a finisher. And you nailed it. I mean, Brener excels on the ground. He seems like he's getting more comfortable with striking. The good news for Brener is, and the thing that you need against a guy like Guram who is so technical is you can't out-technical a guy like Guram, so you got to take chances. And Brener is a guy that will take chances. He will do the spinning back fist, the wild knees, the weird stuff on the feet. And that's going to be his chance here, right, is land something weird. Otherwise, Guram is going to be way quicker, beat him to the punch, way too technical. So if Brener can do something like that, maybe hurt him and then get him to the ground, anything is possible if he gets on his back and stuff like that. But as you mentioned, he don't really have a way to get the fight to the ground. And, I just think he kind of gets beat up for 15 minutes. Guram could be using this as a tune-up fight, too. Maybe he doesn't want to. I mean, it sounds stupid, but sometimes if you're having success in striking, you just kind of work your striking and get some octagon time in.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think Guram's the easy pick. Minus 600 is starting to get a little wild, so you're going to probably have to use him as a parlay piece.
I've got some good bets. I think I've got 2 bets in premium. One of them I definitely like. It cuts his odds all the way, way to like minus 200. But and then there's another one that I think we're going to take a little flyer on, but I feel good about it.
That one bet that cuts his odds is actually a pretty safe bet too. It's not just some wild first round knockout bullshit either. So
right, no, seems like it'd work out here.
Yeah, that should absolutely hit. But what I will say, so we released the beta version of our AI picker.
There we go.
The picks went up last night. I looked at them. It has this razor thin. This goes to like the 4th decimal in the picks. It has Guram at 49.7 something percent and Elves Brener at 50.3 something percent. So the AI officially picked Elves Brener in like a 0.3%. So I think it's going to be off to a bad
this is
start.
what you guys want me going for. This is what you guys want me going for. Everyone's in the Discord. Get rid of Jacob. We don't need him anymore.
I personally think it's off to a bad start. And when I mentioned it to the pick doctor.
But if that happens, literally, if I'm live, I swear to God, because I'll be live Saturday. When I'm streaming, if Brener wins this fight, I'm shutting off the stream. I'm done. I'm out.
You really are. No, the only thing we would need you for is the stream. Forget the picks. The only thing we need you for is the stream.
No, I think I'm just gone at that point. It's going to show me up like that. The week that I'm challenging the AI after one of the best weeks, it picks the second biggest upset on the card. Just open the card. I'm done. I'm done.
Well, I was like, dude, I don't. He was like, you said the same thing. Because, I mean, listen, it went 11-1 this past weekend. It was the number 2 most accurate picks on planet Earth, according to Tapology. But it's had misses. Like it's not batting 1,000. The week before that, which we didn't log, it was like 8-2 or 8-3. So whatever the hell it was. The week before that, UFC 289, it said Miranda Maverick was its most confident pick. But again, it doesn't know that grappling exists. So
neither does Miranda.
Somehow it's getting things done. But DraftKings, $9,400 on Guram. I'm actually going to avoid that. He's not going to win by stoppage. So I think $9,400 is probably a bit expensive.
He could really kind of beat the shit out of Brener, though.
He could, but you think he finishes him?
No.
Exactly.
I kind of already said that, but he could still score. I mean, he's an active guy. He doesn't slow down. I mean, he is in your face, boom, 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 boom. I mean, he could. I mean, this sounds stupid. Dude, Guram has a chance in my mind to break whatever the strike record is for lightweights in a fight. I'm dead serious because Brener is a tough dude. You need somebody that's tough to do that, and Brener is going to be there, and he's a tough guy. And I think Guram would just fucking touch him and break a record tomorrow or Saturday.
Well, and that's why I don't think there'll be a stoppage because Elves is super tough, and Guram will touch him. Guram has some power, but not like thump type power. But anyway, I personally don't think I'll have him in my lineup, but I think he's almost a guarantee to win. If you want to unlock all of our DraftKings tools, information, we have an optimizer, everything else, the bets, weonpicks.com. It's only $10 a month. Just click become a member. Somebody asked, this is the last AI thing I'll get into. Somebody said, curious how the AI is trained. So we're playing the telephone game with the information. I am not the neurophysicist, the nuclear physicist. Pick Doctor is. Basically, what he did is he downloaded all the data.
What if this is no? Have you FaceTime with this guy?
Yeah, many times. It's a person.
But I'm saying, what if this is an AI creating another AI, and like this is ground zero? We are about to just really fuck shit up.
Then nothing exists anymore because
we are the gateway to the takeover.
What it's done.
I mean, that's something to consider.
I'm going to try to summarize this very quickly. He says, curious how the AI is trained. So it's a neural net AI. There's different types of AIs. There's Bayesian, which apparently is not as good for stuff like this.
Right.
Yep.
I'm familiar.
And what he's done is he's gone out. I'm rounding these numbers. There are 5,500 fights.
0.3.
Worth of data. Shut the fuck up. There are 5,500 fights worth of data that exist on the data website, right? Out for the public to see. Of that, there's biometrics, there's striking stats, country, all whatever, grappling, all that stuff.
It takes in consideration where you're from?
No, that's the next evolution. Because I said it'd be really cool to see if like fighters from certain countries are just winning at higher percentages.
Or like certain countries always beat certain countries, imagine.
The amount of stuff and
somebody's always beating fucking Tajikistan. I know that. Jesus, they keep letting me down left and right.
So anyway, he took the 5,500 fights worth of data. He only went back to 2012. And the logic was anything before 2012, the sport was different. You could be one-dimensional and dominant. It was a different sport back then. So he cut the data off at 2012. Loads all the data, but he does it in one piece at a time. First, the biometrics. And he only loads, and he texts me if I'm wrong, doctor. He only loads 3,500 fights worth of data into it. And he says, learn. Look at the fights, look at the results. Look at the fighters, look at the results. Learn. Learn. Then he says, you learned everything you could learn from these 3,500 fights. Now go predict the outcome of these 2,000 fights that you don't know about. And then that's how he knows how accurate it is or isn't. And in those testings, it was at 65%.
Is he talking to this thing like Ex Machina? He's got it in a cage, in a glass container, and it's like just sitting there scribbling. It's like, get over here. It's time for you to fucking work.
Hey, read the article. Anybody who's actually interested.
I actually kind of feel bad for the AI now. This thing is being overworked.
Kenny and anybody else who's actually interested, the Pick Doctor writes articles. That's why we say follow the journey. It's in beta. It's continuing to evolve and learn and get more data pieces. The Pick Doctor's writing detailed articles about all of this. And in this article, the second article, he basically was like, we don't know what it does. We know how to give it information. We know how to teach it. But we don't know what it's actually doing to make these picks.
Oh, God.
We just know what we've
This
given.
is like this. This is the start of a fucking horror movie. Hey, we created this AI to just pick some fights, but honestly, we're kind of wondering what it's thinking about because it's doing some weird stuff, you know? It's saying that death is winning and...
So, anyway,
Oh my
too bad
God.
you didn't have something like this to predict your face cancer. Next up, at UFC Vegas 76, we have the return of just absolute Greek god wrestling beast, Alexandr Romanov, and he's taking on Blagoy Ivanov. Alexandr Romanov, 16-2, 3-2 in his last 5, and he's coming off one of the most embarrassing losses I have ever seen to Alexander Volkov. He's taking on Blagoy Ivanov, 19-5 overall, 2-3 in his last 5, coming off that decision loss to Marcin Tybura. Here's the thing. Breaking down Alexandr Romanov before his last fight was very different than breaking him down now. Before his last fight, this guy was a wrestling beast. He would come forward, he would charge in like a freight train, inevitably take you down, toss you around, do whatever you wanted to, beat you up, and then win that fight. Even in his loss to Marcin Tybura, that first round, he beat the piss out of that guy. He beat the absolute piss out of him. They were at elevation. He got tired. He ended up losing the decision. Then, all excuses, started talking about, wasn't he saying he was like going to gain muscle or like get bigger and stuff like this? And then he actually just got fat as shit.
Well, I don't know.
I thought he was talking about it. Anyway, then he was supposed to fight Alexander Volkov, who's like a little older, a little used up, tall, skinny, a guy you can take down. Everybody loved Alexander Romanov in that. And then he showed up at weigh-ins looking like me, frankly, but shorter. And just sloppy, like you realize he landed 0 punches, not one significant punch, not one regular punch. He landed 0 anything, and he missed 5 takedowns. It was the most embarrassing. I have never seen a fall from grace like that.
It really was only 1 takedown too. I can't believe they counted 5 takedown attempts because it really was one that was like I think he was in on a single and like just couldn't because Volkov was so goddamn big, just couldn't get him down. And then just kind of went like. Well,
yeah.
My work here's done. I think DC even was like, was it that fight? I think it was that fight. DC was like, it looks like he's seen a ghost. Like literally the second he couldn't get a takedown, he was like, oh no.
So he didn't end well for him. It was legit embarrassing. He's taking on Blagoy Ivanov. Blagoy Ivanov is not actually amazing at anything, except
and he's not
his
as
chin.
old as he looks.
Yeah,
you know how old he is?
We'll find out in the next slide.
Me and that guy are the exact same age.
Really? He's 34? What are you, 36? What the hell are you?
Me and that guy are the exact same. That guy's been through a lot.
Look at the hole in his chest.
You guys could be brothers.
He was basically stabbed.
You tell me right now, you're looking at him right now. You guys couldn't be brothers?
No. I'm so much taller. How tall is he?
You guys got the same face.
He's 5'11".
You have the same chin and the same face.
Okay, settle down. I'm taller than both of these dudes.
Holy shit. Anyway. I said brothers, not fucking identical twins.
Well, and the funniest part is my brother is like 5'8". So
he is. I can confirm that. I'm way taller than him.
Yeah, I bet you are.
Way
anyway, Blagoy Ivanov, that hole in his chest, the dude was stabbed like 90% to death and figured it out. Like, he is a survivor. This guy is impossible to get out of there.
Both.
He's got a chin. There are literally highlight reels on YouTube of his chin. Huh? Congratulations on the hideous face scar. Yeah, that's awesome for you. Highlight reels of him just getting blasted in the face and nothing happening. He went to a decision. Did you watch that highlight?
No, but I mean, I know what you're talking about. That guy didn't give a fuck.
Dude, it's crazy. So anyway, he's not amazing at any one thing. He's just super durable, super tough. He can strike. He's got some decent power, good takedown defense, and just refuses to leave. Alexandr Romanov, before the Volkov fight, could grind out a decision, get the takedown, stay on top, beat this guy up. 100% was going to go to a decision. 100%. This Alexandr Romanov, that we just saw that if he doesn't get a takedown immediately, just folds? How could you not pick Blagoy Ivanov? So the pick for me is Ivanov. No bet. I am waiting for weigh-ins. I'm going to have the bet online window open, and I'm going to have a bet ready to go on Ivanov. And if Alexandr Romanov looks like he did in his last fight, bang, that bet's going in. Bang. But if he looks good, no bet. Nobody should be betting on Romanov. No money should be on that side. You can't trust the guy. He's proven it. The only bet here to make is on the Ivanov side, and wait for weigh-ins to do that. We think Jakey boy.
Bang. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much that is the breakdown. And Blagoy is a guy that beat Fedor in Sambo. So it's not like he's not a skilled guy, so he could come in, defend some takedowns, maybe reverse positions, and actually be a decent fight because his hands actually look pretty quick in his last fight as well. I think he actually is going to have the striking advantage in this fight. I did try to go on the Romanov Instagram to see, like, what has this guy been doing? Has he been turning around? Has he been training? And he does have some training. He does have some training videos on there. I saw one, kind of video or something where he was like, oh, I got to work on my boxing. He's in the boxing ring, working his boxing. A lot of it was wrestling again. So he looks like he's still kind of in shape, but I don't think it's really the in shape part. I think it's a mental part, and you really have no idea until somebody gets in there again if they've conquered that mental thing. Because you see, I mean, he was broke mentally. He wasn't physically tired at that point yet. He gave up mentally, and then his body gives up because you mentally you're not there. But I think that Romanov is going to win the first round. I think that he's going to come in, he's going to get the takedown, he's going to win the first round. The issue is I don't think he's going to finish Blagoy. Blagoy knows what he's doing on the ground to stay safe. He will just kind of stall out and just lay on his back, but he knows how to just not be submitted in those type of positions or, TKO'd or whatever. So now you're in the second round. We have no idea. As Angelo has mentioned, we have no idea if Romanov is going to be able to have the success that he's had in the first round, in the second round, in the third round. So for that, if I'm making a pick, I don't have any money yet, but if I'm making a pick, I am going to go with Blagoy because I know what he can do. I know that he can survive, and I know that he can go 2 or 3 rounds. He will get tired, right? But he doesn't quit. He's not a quitter. He's just going to keep working through, but he does get tired. But I know how he's going to react in the second round, in the third round. I have no idea how Romanov is going to react. I think he's going to win the first. He's not going to get the finish, and if he doesn't get the finish, a lot of question marks. So I'm going to go with what I know, and my dude Blagoy Ivanov, baby.
Yeah, listen, I don't disagree. I'm not going to do anything in DraftKings here. Although, Blagoy, if you really do think that Alexandr Romanov is going to quit, not show up, all that stuff, $7,900 is not a bad price because you'll probably get a finish. But I do think Blagoy's not that dangerous. So unless Romanov completely quits on himself, he should be able to either win or survive. So probably fading both sides of this in DraftKings, even though $8,300 feels like a discount on who just a year ago was one of the more dangerous guys in this weight class.
The fact that before 2 fights ago, when he was undefeated, it was like the next big prospect. Francis won't want to fight this guy. If John Jones is coming up to heavyweight, he's not going to want to fight this guy. I mean, he was like being that next guy. And then all of a sudden, he might be an underdog to Blagoy Ivanov by the time Saturday rolls around. The way the odds are moving, he literally could be a dog by Saturday. It's crazy.
It is crazy. So no action from us yet on this fight, but if you want to see all the other action we've got on the other fights or unlock any of the tools that we have to offer, WeWantPicks.com. It's only $10 a month, and there is not a person on this planet offering anywhere near what we're offering, anywhere near that price point. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. What?
No, I was going to say, I guess you don't go on OnlyFans very often. There's some good, for just a lot of good $5 pages on OnlyFans. That offer a whole lot more than what we do.
Remember you were supposed to do a fighter OnlyFans review video. What happened with that?
Love happened. I fell in love. I'm a one-man woman.
Okay. Well, congrats, I guess.
I'm a one-man woman.
Okay,
what song is that? That's a...
What the hell do I sounds like country music. What about me makes you think I know country songs?
Probably that hillbilly smile.
Probably those fucking teeth.
Just your overall stench. You smell like a fucking pig.
Oh, Jesus, man. That was a little... Next up at UFC Vegas 76, we have Joanderson Brito taking on short notice body bag Westin Wilson. Joanderson Brito 14-3 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, coming off back-to-back finish wins. He's taken on Westin Wilson 16-7 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He is making his short notice UFC debut. I mean, you see the line movement. He opened as a massive favorite. He's an even more massive favorite at this point. Joanderson Brito's a fast, athletic grappler. He's got solid top pressure, a ton of submissions. His striking actually isn't that bad either. It's not technical, but it is powerful. He will come forward and just bomb away big, wide punches, huge, heavy kicks. He doesn't care if you're going to throw back. He's still going to come forward and do all of that. He's averaging almost 4 takedowns per fight, but he can be taken down if you're the one staying in his face. He's coming off that win over Lucas Alexander. I mentioned he's taking on Westin Wilson, short notice UFC debut. It's a rough debut for sure, but unlike some of these other short notice debuts we've seen recently, he's got a lot of experience. 16-7, like that's a lot of fights. They like to say he's a karate style striker. Every single fight he's in, that's the narrative: karate style striker, karate style striker. And he does have that stance, but he doesn't have much defense. He's a very hittable guy. He keeps his hands super low. He has a lot of in and out movement. Could be a little hesitant with his offense. I mentioned he can be hittable with his defense. But when he does hit a flow, when he falls into a rhythm, he's pretty accurate. He makes things happen. He touches you when he wants to, where he wants to. He's pretty accurate. And on the ground, he is dangerous as well. He doesn't have the best wrestling to get it there, but he is dangerous. He'll wrap something up and try to sneak something in there if you're going to roll around. Weston's a really high fight IQ guy. Like, I don't think he makes mistakes. I think his athleticism catches up to him, if you will. And Joanderson Brito is just insanely athletic. Big, strong, fast, all the things. And it doesn't matter how smart you are. At a certain point, the bigger, stronger, faster guy is going to win. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. I think Joanderson Brito is just going to out-athlete, out-power, out-man, all the things. What do you think?
It's Brito.
I don't give a shit.
Ooh. Sorry about that, Joanderson. I don't feel the same. I support my Brazilian brothers. So, yeah, I mean, a breakdown is pretty much all you need to say. I mean, Westin wants this fight to the ground. If he is, for whatever reason, on the back of Joanderson's probably going to have a little bit of issue, but he should even be able to survive that. And in the stance, in the striking, as you mentioned, Westin Wilson is a karate stance guy. And as you also mentioned, doesn't really use a lot of karate stuff. I don't see a lot of side kicks, a lot of keeping range type kicks. So he kind of stands like that with his hands low, but he almost fights like a boxer with the karate stance. So in that regard, he is a very, very hittable guy, especially against a guy with the speed of Joanderson Brito in this fight. It is going to be bad news bears because Joanderson does not sit back and wait, and he's going to see that guy with his hands low and that target right on that chin, and he is going to connect, and it's going to be bad news when he does for Westin Wilson. So, you know, I'll give all the grappling credit in the world to Westin because if it, for whatever reason, if Brito comes in and shoots a takedown, it turns into a grappling match. I think he can hold his own in there, but in the striking, I think it's not going to be good.
No, I mean, I agree. And everybody wants to mention the Chepe fight. Obviously, last week, Chepe fought in the UFC. He won pretty dominantly. Great fight. And you do your tape study, you're going to see that Joanderson Brito not only knocked out Chepe, he was like dead. That dude didn't move for minutes.
Joanderson's a dude, man. He's a dude. I hope he stays active and stuff because I think he's a little bit older too, considering where he's at as far as like UFC rankings and stuff. How old is he? 28, so not too bad.
He's not. These are the fake Brazilian ages. He's not.
So what do you think, 34? He looks like he's 34.
I bet he's 32, 33, yeah, for sure.
He looks like he's about 34.
Well, $9,600 in DraftKings, you got to do it. $1,100 in the odds. It's a bit wide, frankly. I was waiting to see what they would be. Throw them in the safety parlay. $1,100. What are you going to do with that? Make an extra $5.
Well, it's like $1,400 now.
I did these graphics. It is Tuesday.
Oh, you want to talk about your procrastination here?
It is Tuesday at 8 p.m. I did these graphics, I don't know, this morning, 6 a.m., 5 a.m., something stupid like that. So that's a lot of movement in one day.
It goes up, it goes down.
Anyway, I imagine everybody agrees with everything we just said, but if you do want to unlock any of the bets that we have on this fight or others, WeWantPicks.com, just click Become a Member. It is only $10 a month, and you're going to get the picks, the tools, everything. Every single thing on that website flips to green as soon as you click Become a Member. This is the greatest picture of Ivana Petrovic, by the way.
I know, because I saw that picture too, and I was like, here we go. This is a nice little rebound coming off a tough weekend for me. And then I was watching her fights, and I was like, now I would go back. I'm like, wait a second. Wait a second. She's still a pretty girl, obviously, but
it's a perfect picture.
Probably might be out. Probably out of your league, in my league though.
Unless she likes tall men, and then we're both fucked.
What?
Well, I'm tall but ugly. You're short and decent looking.
I'm not short, Ivana. I'm not short.
You're not short.
No, I'm not short. What are you talking about? We'll go flip the screen. How tall is she? Flip the screen.
5'8", dude. You're the same height.
6'6". Luana's 6'6". Holy shit,
dude! It's so annoying.
My God.
Clearly a typo. Clearly a typo, and everybody's like, bleh. It's like, okay, idiots, God. Use your deductive reasoning
I can do
skills.
5'8" fine with me. I'm looking.
Not if she wears heels.
When she's right here, I put the chin right on her forehead like this. It's real cute.
Yeah, I bet.
Right on top
anyway,
of
we got Ivana Petrovic at 6-0 taking on Luana Carolina at 8-4. Ivana Petrovic is undefeated in her career, and she's making her UFC debut here. But it's not the easiest UFC debut. She's taking on Luana Carolina, 8-4, decent amount of UFC experience. She is 2-3 in her last 5, but she is riding back-to-back losses. But Ivana's a well-rounded fighter, primarily, mostly a grappler. She can be a little busy with her striking if she gets that going, but she's mostly a grappler. She's got decent wrestling, heavy pressure, BJJ. She's going to work you against the cage, drag you to the ground, and then just immediately start working towards a submission. She is only 6-0 in MMA. She's relatively untested, and there's a lot of hype here. There's a lot of hype and not a ton of footage, frankly. And she's taking on Luana Carolina, who is a striker. Jesus fucking Christ. Who is a striker. She's got solid takedown defense. Not the most technical, but she's got a real nice Muay Thai style. She's got very good takedown defense at 78%. And when she does get taken down, she's busy. She starts working. She tries to get back up. If she's on top, she looks for submissions. She's coming off a razor-thin decision loss to Joanne Wood just a few months ago. This fight's a full fade for me. The path for Ivana is very clear. Get a takedown. You should be good. But, I mean, Luana's not the easiest person to take down. 78% takedown defense. Like, that's solid takedown defense in this division. And everybody she's fought has tried to take her down at some point. She's a decent striker. Has got some power. If Luana keeps this standing, big gap. Ivana may get frustrated, flustered, UFC debut. Or Ivana is the real deal, and we're about to find out. There's just too many unknowns here, so I'm going to fade this fight in DraftKings. No bets, nothing. These odds are way too wide to shoot a shot either. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this, and you can let me know if you agree or disagree. When I was breaking down this fight, I think the difference, the biggest difference of gap in talent in my mind is newcomer females coming to the UFC fighting a veteran UFC female. And why I think that is because when you look at the guys on the regional scenes, a lot of these newcomer guys, and you saw it last week with Joshua Van, can come into the UFC and fight UFC veterans and really, really compete because the regional scene is so loaded and so talented. All the leagues coming up have talented people, so they're almost more ready than the females. The females, they're still, because it's so new for females, in the regional scene, there's still not a lot of talent to really work your way up. So when these newcomer girls come in, and they've had it nice and easy on the regional scene, they're getting all these finishes, they come and they fight somebody like Luana Carolina, who's been around, who has fought some of the better girls in the UFC, and the UFC has the best girls. It's not even close as far as like the other organizations and stuff. A lot of times you see these females come in, the new females, they really struggle against veterans, and I can see that happening because when I watch Ivana's fight of the film that I watched, when she gets top position, she's very good, right? She is very good at controlling that position, of working towards your back, of getting your back, and working submissions from there. But her takedowns are not good. I mean, most of her takedowns I saw were the body lock takedowns where you fall backwards and then you just kind of lay on the guy at or the girl in the last second.
Lateral?
Lateral drop, whatever it is. Thank you, Angelo, with my DC. This is my DC here. I appreciate that. The lateral drop, and you'll even hear DC when people do that. He's like, I hate that. You know, I hate when people do that because so many times the person will just fall backwards. The person will end up on top, and without good takedowns against Luana, I think she can just get beat up on the feet. I mean, Ivana does not, in my mind, is not a very comfortable striker. And I wish Luana was more technical. If she was, shooting shots just straight down the pipe, I would feel really, really good about her. But she is not a dangerous striker. A lot of it's looping, a lot of it's slow. But I think she can do enough and stuff enough takedowns to win this fight. I literally don't think Ivana can get a takedown. And if she's not getting a takedown, she's not winning this fight. So I'm going with the dog here in Luana. I just think the experience is going to be way too much. Those weird kind of takedowns are not going to work for Ivana, and she's going to kind of panic in there and get beat up a little bit.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm trying to see what the AI picked. Let's see. Hold on. Keep talking. Don't talk.
So, Ivana, yeah, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Jacob, a.k.a. the Freckled Salamander. Very single. Tall, dark, handsome. You know how we do. Perfect teeth. Sense of humor off the charts. I mean, nobody compares to me.
So
charm and wit.
Based off biometrics alone, because Ivana is a UFC debut, we have no striking statistics on her, and grappling statistics are not factored into the AI yet. It is still beta. 64% confidence in Ivana, which is what the odds say. And it's pretty crazy that this thing basically
it's going to be a fun week for me.
Yeah, Jacob versus the AI. We'll see how that turns out. But you know what's funny? I think he wrote in one of his articles, like benefits of being an AI, and one of them is no sun allergy. And he texted me.
Let's make cancer jokes. Yeah.
Well, so he texted me saying, and he was like, "Is Jacob really allergic to the sun?" I said, "No, he had cancer." And he's like, "Oh." I was like,
I would like to see that AI have a female fighter fall in love with it. That would be my challenge.
I would like to see you have anybody fall in love with it.
Just because they don't want to go public doesn't mean any. I mean, you don't know what goes on behind my closed doors.
I have a good idea. Ivana Petrovic, $8,900 in DraftKings. I'm going to fade that.
He's kidding, Ivana. He's kidding.
I'm gonna fade that because there are so many unknowns. She is a UFC debut, but my advice to everybody in the quick picks video was I would avoid the over 2.5 here. Like, people love the lady 2.5s. This just feels like Luana could get a stoppage on her feet. Ivana could get it to the ground, and she's supposed to be this phenom. Too much going on. It's just not worth.
It does feel like a weird.
Why throw money at this?
Yeah, I know for like the live stream bets, because I'll be live Saturday, this might be one we chase for inside the distance and just hope that Ivana either looks like she should and just gets that control and submits, or Luana just kind of takes over.
Yeah, so that was my advice. Basically, do nothing with this.
Yeah, let me be clear, too. My pick is Luana, but I'm not, like, super confident in Luana. I don't think she's going to march it out. Luana is not like this, but she is an aggressive girl. She will keep moving forward. She's tough. She does fatigue a little bit.
Way more experience.
But I'm not like, load up on Luana. That's my pick, just so we get that clear.
Yeah, if her takedown defense holds up, she should win. That's basically what this comes down to. And her takedown defense has held up, but we'll see. Too much going on in this fight to really nail something down here. If you want to unlock all the things, including Pick Doctor, which is in beta, I do not recommend tailing it blindly.
Jacob, quote, the love doctor versus the Pick Doctor. That's why I was laughing earlier.
We want picks.com. Click, become a member. The hiccups. $1.99 super chat.
How do you get rid of your hiccups?
I just ignore them until they just go away.
It works really well. And I wouldn't mind if you went and got one. If you went and got it right now, I swear to God, if you ever have the hiccups, it's a big spoonful of peanut butter, baby.
We can't have peanut butter in my house.
You just start, oh yeah.
My daughter's a fucking nerd. I agree.
You really can't have, you don't have any peanut butter in your house.
We have
the hell's a dog for?
We have some Snickers. Very, very high up in the pantry. So you couldn't get them. $2 super chat from Sam Pierce. He said, Jacob's looking like a dummy. Angela looking good and thick. Thank you, Sam Pierce. Very, very appreciated.
Angela has bad genes. I told her in Discord today, I was mentioning that people didn't
Definitely
realize that
didn't come from my side.
That my stud feed's over $10,000 now.
Okay.
You know what that is?
Yeah, I know what a stud fee is. I also
because they said you have bad genes. Nobody want yours, but people are paying for mine, baby.
And that didn't. I haven't sneezed since 1996. It is not my genes that nerded that kid up. Next up at UFC Vegas 76, we have Yana Santos, formerly Yana Kunitskaya, taking on Karol Rosa. Yana Santos 14-3 overall, 2-3 in her last 5. Coming off that loss to Holly Holm, she's taking on Karol Rosa, 16-5 overall, 3-2 in her last 5, and she's coming off a close decision loss to Norma Dumont. Yana Santos, I mentioned, formerly Kunitskaya. The only reason I say that is because if you're doing your fight research, you want to look at fights, you want to look at the tape, you're going to have to look up Kunitskaya. She's a high-volume striker. She's landed about 4 significant strikes per minute. Doesn't really have a ton of power, but lots of output, mixes things up well. Nice kicks, uses them to maintain difference. She does have some offensive wrestling. We've seen her used it in the past, but it's sort of a low 53% accuracy. And she has an even lower 45% takedown defense. Holly Holm just beat her, took her down 4 times. She's taking on Karol Rosa. Karol Rosa is a much, like, Yana Santos is a busy striker. Karol Rosa is much busier. She's landing almost 6 significant strikes per minute. She is willing to trade as well. She's a decision fighter, so not dangerous at all, but she's got solid takedown offense and defense. She has 10 takedowns in 7 UFC fights and a solid 68% defense. I mentioned she's coming off that close fight to Norma Dumont. She was doing really, really well in that fight. She even knocked down Norma. The reality is she just couldn't get off the cage, and Norma won that fight, just sort of holding her there. Had a takedown. Who's there?
Norma.
Norma who?
Normally, I don't go around knocking on people's doors, but would you like to buy an encyclopedia?
Why'd you add the last part?
That's the joke.
Encyclopedia? Anybody who says it like that has never opened an encyclopedia. Anyway, I like Karol Rosa to get it done, and I also appreciate this line movement. I think this line movement makes a ton of sense. Minus 250 favorite. It's a bit wide considering Yana Santos is the one with the striking, the official striking background. That was what she was doing prior to the UFC. And, Karol Rosa, I think, is going to need to work in some takedowns because while she did showcase some power against Norma, when Yana Santos or Kunitskaya gets going, if she's not worried about takedowns, she really can let her hands go, can work in some nice kicks. So Karol Rosa should win. If these lines tighten even more, I may hit a Karol Rosa money line. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah. Oh, Westin Wilson. Wow. Another shocker there. Way to go, Angelo.
Oh, I didn't update it on the freaking... Oh, I fixed that graphic too, but I didn't replace it in the PowerPoint.
It's a tough one. I mean, it's happening more and more often these days, so...
The record's correct, though.
Yeah, I think Karol Rosa is, and in my mind, is the better fighter overall. I actually think she's a better striker too. And I know Yana's kind of got the credentials, but when I watch her fight, it's just like nothing really impressed me. And Karol will get in your face and throw some nice combinations, boxing with some kicks as well. The issue is, and Karol's gonna win. Every time I look over, I keep seeing Westin, and I keep being like, what the fuck is going on?
It's annoying because I fixed the graphic. I just didn't throw it in the here.
So Karol is going to be my pick, but I'm worried because if you watch that Norma Dumont fight, there was a lot of situations where Norma Dumont was just kind of holding and controlling Karol Rosa against the fence. And if you watch Yana Santos in the last couple fights, that's exactly what she's been trying to do to people. Use her strikes to just kind of blitz into clinch positions and hold people in those positions. Yes, work for takedowns, but she's comfortable just kind of maintaining those positions to try to win the fight. And she was actually controlling Holly Holm really well early on in that fight. And Holly is a very tall, strong girl, and we just saw Karol being controlled against the fence against Norma Dumont. Norma Dumont, also a very tall girl. I mean, very strong, athletic legs. I mean, just those things are just absolutely...
Just said the word legs. Legs.
Legs. And then those fucking... The hamstrings on those things are just fucking holy guacamole. But that's what worries me in this fight is Santos does that and does it enough to where all of a sudden, Karol is fighting from behind and she doesn't really have the power to finish this fight. So that worries me a little bit, but not too much. I think Karol should be able to control this fight. I think she knows that that's what Santos is going to want to do in this fight. She's going to work off the cage. She's going to control their striking exchanges, maybe get a takedown or work the ground game. She's good on the ground as well. So Karol's the better fighter in my mind everywhere, so she is going to be the pick. But it does worry me a little bit when I just saw Santos holding people against the cage and I just saw Karol being held against the cage. It's almost like the the Phil Rowe breakdown last week. I said if Phil Rowe stays at range, he'll dominate the fight. You saw him every time he was at range.
What a moron.
He was dominating the fight. You know the worst part about that whole thing?
So, and I picked him to win, and he could have won. He could have won that fight whenever he wanted to. What?
At the end of the second round? His corner told him, "You're winning all. You're doing great. You're winning all the cage."
Why didn't they say, "Hey, moron, just stay away"? And
no, they not only was he losing though, they said, "Keep doing it. You're winning all the cage exchanges." That was the most asinine game plan I've ever seen. Every time he was at distance, pop, and then Neil Magny's like, "No, come here."
He even out-grappled Neil Magny too.
It was crazy. So I mean,
he just had no volume.
Right. I mean, so this is almost the same thing applies here. If Karol Rosa stays at space, just kind of picks her apart and stays out of those clinch positions, I think she should dominate this fight, and we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, it should be an interesting fight. $8,600, probably a little rich, but if you think she's going to work in the takedowns, right? Yana Santos, that's how you beat her. You take her down. If you think she's going to work in the takedown, she could rack up some very real points, some very real control time. If you don't understand the DraftKings scoring, well, premium members just go to more and then courses. That walks you through the scoring, how to build lineups, what the contests mean, and all of that. That could help you sort of build a winning lineup if you'd like. Are you going to throw Karol Rosa in your lineup? $8,600. It's a weird price point. It's not a ton. And if she gets takedowns, she will score well.
I think she's one of the most random people on this card that's pretty live for a finish in this fight. I think stylistically it really kind of works out for her. I think she can control the striking, and if it goes to the ground, I think she can be a finisher on the ground as well. So I think that might be a sneaky play at $8,600. Also, the girlfriend of Denise Gomes, my lock of the week, my big lock of the week a few weeks ago. So we've got that attachment.
Wow, I didn't even know that. Congratulations.
Me and all the Brazilians are pretty close.
Oh, look at you. Look at you. The very fair-skinned young Brazilian boy with a red beard. You're a legend in the favelas. A favela
I
legend.
imagine if I show up in Sao Paulo, walking around, I got eyes on me from everything.
Yeah, because they'd be like...
they've never seen something like this before. They'd be like,
I agree.
My God. Oh, my God.
No, he has risen. He has risen, and he's still dirty.
They're going to be all over me when I get there. By the way, become a premium member because all your money goes to me getting to Brazil and finding these women who are going to be all over me, man. Woo.
You know what's funny? Last week, somebody in the live chat said Angelo makes $1,200 a year. So I pinned the comment. Sarcastically said, we only make $1,200 a year. Please become a premium member. That's all. I can't afford to feed my children. And then... before that, prior to that, we were joking that
nobody understands
some
sarcasm.
of these people don't understand sarcasm. Dude, there was a dude, I actually blocked him from the channel. There was a dude that commented on 20 underneath 20 comments, no exaggeration, saying they're lying about how much they make to get money. That's disgusting. They're pretending to be poor. It's like, oh my God, dude. I even pinned $1,200 a year. That's $100 a month. I got kids. I wouldn't have enough electricity to film this. It's just people are retarded. Oops. Edit that out. Next
Someone
up.
said that I'd get mugged in Brazil, but if you're getting mugged, you're getting touched. That's a win.
It's in the front. It's in the front. Next up at UFC Vegas 76, we have the return of Kevin Lee taking on Rinat Fakhretdinov. Kevin Lee, 19-7 overall, 2-3 in his last 5, and he's coming off the non-UFC win over Diego Sanchez. He's taking on Rinat Fakhretdinov, 21-2, 5-0 in his last 5. He's coming off the absolute destruction of Brian Battle. And I don't mean that disrespectfully to Brian Battle, because if you remember last time Brian fought, I picked him to win based off of how well he did in the loss to Rinat. Dude did not stop moving. And that factors into me liking Rinat here as well. Meaning, Rinat took down Brian Battle a ton of times. An insane amount of times. 7 takedowns. He had 14 minutes of control. At no moment did Brian Battle rest, relax, let him do that. So Rinat got 7 takedowns, 14 minutes of control time, and worked every single one of those minutes. And I think that's going to be needed here because Kevin Lee is no pushover. Rinat, obviously we know, big-time wrestler. He does have some heavy hands on his feet. He is willing to trade. but he's just constantly pressuring forward, throwing big 1-2s, and then just grabbing legs. He'll bend over and pick him up. He'll shoot a takedown. Whatever he needs to do to get it to the ground, that's exactly what he's going to do. He's taking on Kevin Lee. You know what you may not know who this is. While doing the tape study I know, that's a boss, baby. While doing the tape study.
That's a boss, baby? Alec Baldwin?
Did you know that Kevin Lee is Keith Lee's brother? You know who Keith Lee is? The food guy on Tiki Taki?
What? I don't watch food TikToks all day, Angela. I'll be honest with you. I'm not on TikTok watching food all day.
Everybody knows who Kevin Lee is. He's got Keith Lee. He's got like 15 million. He's the one who screwed up Jersey Mike's because he did a promo and everybody ordered Jersey Mike's on the app and the whole country couldn't keep up with the amount of Jersey Mike's orders that came through. Anyway, this is his brother. I didn't know they were brothers. So cool. Kevin Lee. Yeah, that's an interesting fact.
I didn't know Rinat was brothers with Abe Lincoln.
Anybody in the live chat, let me know if you knew who that dude was. Come on. Yeah, even Perry doesn't even watch Tiki Taki.
Fuck you, Jackson King.
And he knew. Nobody know his as a food guy. He's from WWE Next. First of all, shut the fuck up, all right? Nobody knows the 15 million subscribers on his food
now
thing
you're gonna get defensive because you just outed yourself as a fucking.
No, that was just a way. That was just a way to be like, oh, I know. He's like, shut the fuck up. He's also an MMA fighter. His dick's never been inside or anything. Anyway, Kevin Lee.
What?
That was his username. Kevin Lee is back in the UFC. He left. There was what was the issue? It was a tainted substance that didn't end up actually being tainted. It was something dumb
I think he left because Dana said he was too good.
Oh, it was Adderall. He's prescribed Adderall, took the Adderall. I think he even disclosed it on the form, and they still were like, well, this is a banned substance.
I'm pretty sure that Dana knew that he was going to beat Khabib, and he didn't want that, so they kicked him out.
Could be. Anyway, he's a pretty well-rounded guy. He's got decent striking. You're going to see highlight after highlight of him dropping people, making stuff happen. Decent grappler as well. He's fought the who's who of the welterweight division over the last however many years. He has averaging about 4 takedowns per fight. He has 46 takedowns in his UFC career. He's beaten not everybody. He's fought everybody, but he's beaten some solid guys. Gregor Gillespie, that was a solid win. I don't know what the hell's up with Gregor, where he is at, but that was a solid win.
I don't think he's woken up yet, Angelo. Jesus Christ. That was one of the craziest knockouts ever. That
like a year and a half ago.
I think he's still there's somebody just sitting on a stool next to him in the octagon, just going to contact his family when he finally
Joe Rogan's
wakes up.
waiting for the interview still.
Yeah, fuck.
He beat Edson Barboza. He beat Michael Chiesa. Kevin Lee has a lot of solid wins. But I don't think this is going to be a win. I think this is Rinat all day. The line collapsing on itself is a popularity contest because while Kevin Lee is very, very good and deserves to be in the UFC, Rinat is just a different level. And we have seen people out-wrestle Kevin Lee, and that's just what Rinat, unless you are prepared to defend 150 takedowns, you're not going to win that fight. And I just think that's what happens. I think Rinat gets it done takedown after takedown after takedown, attempt after attempt after attempt, nonstop. So I like Rinat here. I know you're a Kevin Lee guy, so let's hear it.
Yeah, I was a Kevin Lee fan. I don't know why. I just remember when I started watching the UFC was when he was kind of really involved in the division, and it seemed like everyone hated Kevin Lee. But for whatever reason, I kind of liked his attitude. I think it's his confidence, right? I love people that are that are actually confident fighters, and I believe that he, in his mind, he believes he is one of the top people in the entire world. And I have no issue when somebody that believes in themselves quite to that level, and he definitely has a high self-belief. So that's kind of why I'm a fan of his. And he's a very good fighter. I mean, he's good on the feet. He can wrestle. He can grapple. He's a more dangerous grappler. I think people give him credit for and what people realize. And he's going to be a danger on the feet for Rinat, but as you mentioned, Rinat really doesn't play around on the feet too much. I mean, he can if he needs to, but it's just to set up the shop. Yeah, just to set up the shots, and then he's just going to continue to chain wrestle. The fight that I was most interested in was the Rinat Andreas fight, because Andreas does have good wrestling, grappling background. I was curious to watch that fight and see, did he have any success? Or is there anything that he did that maybe Kevin Lee can do in that fight? And you saw him winning a couple scrambles against Rinat, reversing a couple positions. But when you watch Rinat in those positions, it wasn't like some of these guys, the grapplers, the second they turn to a nail, it's like, oh no. You almost saw that in the Islam Volk fight, right? Islam is so used to having success. The second he was on his back, he looked like a deer in headlights. With Rinat getting out scrambled by Andreas, it looked like just another rolling class for him. I mean, just another roll, just another grappling session, whatever it was. He didn't panic. He just kind of works through, keeps the wizard, keeps it strong, and then reverses back to position. And that's really dangerous for a guy like Kevin Lee, because I think Kevin Lee believes he can out-wrestle this guy. I think that Kevin Lee believes I can out-wrestle this guy. I mean, he's talked about he can beat Chimaev and everything. He thinks he can out-grapple this guy. I don't think he's going to be able to, and I think this fight is going to look a lot like the Kevin Lee RDA fight. RDA basically kind of just outworked him in that fight. Once it got to the late second round, Kevin Lee trying to get takedowns were almost non-existent. He kept getting reversed, and RDA takedowns were a lot easier as the fight went on. I think the same thing happens here. You might see Kevin Lee hanging around, stuffing a takedown, looking like he's winning a couple scrambles in the first round. Then he just kind of gasses, he slows down, and Rinat kind of takes over. I don't know if Rinat's going to get a finish. I got respect for Kevin Lee in that, right? But I think has all the opportunity in the world to kind of dominate this fight.
Yeah, I think I'm surprised. I thought you were going to pick Kevin Lee to win.
The fact that Kevin Lee is only 32 is like insane.
That blew my mind. I checked the stats twice. He's been around forever.
It seems like he would be like 36, 37. So he could still be improving. A lot of miles, though.
I actually like Kevin Lee as well. He was one of the OG guys to give Dana White a hard time. Didn't just take him at his word, would call him out publicly and give him a hard time. I like Kevin Lee. I'm glad
he was like,
UFC,
I can't remember when that submission was, but he was almost the champion of the world. He was beating the shit out of Tony Ferguson. And then Tony threw up that triangle and caught his ass.
Yeah, no, I think Rinat's just going to, like you said, outwork him, just out-wrestle. That's what he does. Anybody that's very impressed with the success of our AI, big harsh reminder, yes, the AI, it's available right now, Picks Doctor, it's under analysts. It went 11-1 last week. And one of the sketchiest cards we've had in a very long time, it picked every single underdog correct on that card. It picked every single fight except one correct on that card. It was the second in the world at picking fights correctly, according to Tapology. It does not have grappling statistics. It doesn't have it. And this is the type of fight where it probably should. So just keep that in mind if you're looking at the AI's picks and what it's done. It doesn't even know that grappling exists because it has never been given grappling stats. Not yet. That's why it's in beta. That's why we're saying very carefully.
Does it think that Rinat's 2-3 in his last 5?
Listen, I don't know.
Have you had one slide yet? Have you had one?
You know what's crazy about the errors on the graphics? I did these graphics live in Discord with people watching. You'd think somebody would have said something.
Nah, they're just looking at you, big boy.
Anyway, $8,800 in DraftKings. I think that's a bargain because I think he's going to get a ton of takedowns. A ton of takedowns. A ton.
He could get 5 or 6 in the first round because Kevin Lee's going to work. I mean, he's a dog. I mean, he's going to be working back to his feet, defending takedowns. I mean, Rinat could get 5 or 6 in the first round alone. Up and down, up and down, up and down. You know what I mean?
It'll be an interesting fight for sure. Lots of stuff at stake here, but I do think Rinat's going to get it done. As do you, if you want to unlock all the picks, the bets, the optimizer, even the beta version of the AI. WeWantPicks.com, just $10 a month. Click become a member. There was a question. Dixon said, why did it pick Ivana?
Attractiveness. It takes into account. It takes into account attractiveness. That's why if you ask who's going to win a fight between me and Angelo, it's fucking me, 99%, baby. On height, weight, length, abdominals, charisma.
It has biometrics, so it made that pick off of the biometrics because it looks at, okay, this is a female. According to female fights, height, weight, length, reach, all these things, blah, 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 blah. It's loaded. The gender's loaded into it.
Oh, what else can it do?
Everything will be loaded into it. It's going to be spitting out. We're going to get the wildest.
Can I load into it? Where you at, Picks Doctor? Let me plug you into my fleshlight real quick.
Oh, my God, dude. Can I load into it? Jesus Christ. Ugh, that's a hard one to shake. Next up, at UFC Vegas 76, we have another UFC debut, another short notice opponent. We have Nursulton Ruziboev taking on Brunno Ferreira. Nursulton Ruziboev is 34-8 overall, 5-0 in his last 5. He is on a nice 8-fight win streak. He's taking on Brunno Ferreira. This guy's undefeated in his career, all stoppages. And if you remember, I was very high on Brunno. I picked him to beat Gregory Rodriguez. Everybody said I was crazy. He was the biggest winning underdog on that card.
He was getting fucking worked in that fight.
But then what happened? Jacob? Tell them.
RoboCop got unplugged.
Exactly. Anyway, so Brunno Ferreira, that is essentially his deal, right? He's a big power striker. He's going to come forward. He is actually pretty light on his feet for sort of a short, stocky guy, and he'll mix up his different attacks. He'll bounce on his toes. It really works him in and out of the pocket well, how light he is on his feet, and he's going to throw bombs. He'll even spin. Just super heavy punches, his spinning techniques, whatever he's got to do to get you out of there, and it has been working for him. But there are times, too, where he can be a little low volume. He's almost waiting for the perfect spot. He doesn't come rushing in crazy. He'll wait. If he finds it, he'll come in and then go from there. He can grapple as well. We don't see a ton of it, but he's got some decent takedowns, some decent BJJ, but definitely a striker. Nursulton stepping up on short notice, right? He's an absolute killer. He's got 44 fights under his belt with 32 finishes. He is a wrestling and grappling beast. And he's going to get you to the ground any way that he needs to. He's going to shoot doubles. He's going to catch kicks. Literally any opportunity he has, he's going to use that to get you to the ground. On the ground, he's super aggressive, always transitioning, always looking for a finish. Fantastic BJJ. Control is not the best. You can stand up on him. I think Ruziboev is one of the more live dogs on this card. And I think the opening odds of -110 were spot on. That made sense to me. And then they took off. And Ruziboev is +165 now. I think he's one of the best underdogs on this card. And I'm going to do a little more. What I don't like to do is just bet on.
Didn't you pick Brunno?
I did pick Brunno, so let me finish here.
What the fuck? I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
The one and only reason I picked Brunno is because the short notice call up and Nursulton's going to need to get this to the ground and Bruno's going to make him pay on those entries. But if he's in shape, which we have seen some of these short notice call ups, I think he can grind. My official advice in the Quick Picks video was just sort of stay away from this. Just leave this alone, stay away, because we don't yet know what Bruno's going to look like fighting a beast of a wrestler. We don't know Nursulton on short notice dealing with the power. So stay away. The +165 is super enticing, but I personally am not a big, it's a close fight, let me get the plus money. That's not typically how I work. What do you think, Jakey?
Yeah, this is obviously, I think, one of the more intriguing fights on this card. And I've been back and forth on this. I originally broke down this fight. My pick was Brunno, and then I switched to Ruziboev just because there's just something about his game when he looks good. And I understand it's the regional scene. A lot of those, organizations over there, he's fighting people that aren't great, right? But he's doing what he needs to do against those people. And against those people, he does look fantastic. I mean, he's picking people up, he's slamming them down, he's dominating them on the ground. And then I see some other fights where he's on his back and he's chasing triangles and he's chasing arm bars and he's getting out wrestled and people have him stacked up and he's still chasing arm bars and he's still chasing triangles. And I think if he brings that game plan into a fight like this, it's not going to work. I think Brunno is going to know what he's doing in those type of positions, and he's just going to get the shit beat out of him. I mean, it's going to look like I was about to say something bad, and I was not going to say it. Don't listen to me. Sorry about that, Ryan. But it could look like that type of fight. You know what I mean? Where he's just kind of getting a little bit too desperate on the ground and Brunno kind of beats him up. But if he shows up, I think he does have a wrestling, a grappling advantage in this fight. And I think if he gets it to the ground and looks good and looks like he knows what he's doing down there, he can control this fight. So this is basically is Ruziboev an actual prospect, or is he not? Because I'm not exactly sold on Brunno, but this is pretty cut and dry for him. Either he's getting taken down and controlled, or he's probably going to knock this guy out like he's knocked everyone else out. But in that Gregory Rodriguez, the reason I flip back from Brunno to Ruziboev is I watched that Gregory Rodriguez fight back again. And Gregory was just absolutely controlling that fight. And the look of Bruno's face was it wasn't like a oh no panic, But there was no plan B. I mean, there's no plan B. He was backing up, and he just kept looking for the big shot, the big shot, the big shot. I think he feinted like one takedown and got out-scrambled by Gregory a little bit. But there really wasn't a plan B. And I think that if he gets in a situation here where he's throwing heavy and Ruziboev is still there, we might have a situation where Ruziboev is able to kind of take over that fight. So I didn't really like the way that he was in that Gregory fight. He was definitely losing that fight. Found the knockout. Same thing could happen in this situation, but I'm going to take a little bit of a flyer with the newcomer Ruziboev, and I hope he's a real deal.
Yeah, we're going to find out. It's for sure an interesting fight. Like I said, I was sort of like on the fade camp here. There's just unknowns. I'm not going to spend money on unknowns like this. Somebody said too many 10-0 plus win fighters on the... Oh, never mind. I thought I said 10-0. I was going to say, because Brunno's not making his UFC debut. So, yeah, we have seen a lot of regional guys with a ton of experience show up and get smoked. It's...
I hope he brings that tan. You think that's the picture, or is that a...
I think that's just his skin tone.
Looks great, man. That's me. You give me a weekend at the pool. That's what I'm looking at.
One weekend? Okay.
One weekend. That's all it takes, baby.
I bet.
I'm just too bad I'm in here live streaming every Saturday. You'd be able to see it.
I invited you over for literally a
live streaming every Saturday. Tape study all day Sunday. I look like this for you guys.
I chose the vampire life for you and for these live streams.
I hope you guys are happy. That's why I can't find love, because I fucking look like this.
I thought you did find love.
Well, it's, you know how love is. It just...
I found love in
it's here
a
and then it's gone.
Place. I found love in a broken place. Yeah, wrestler versus striker. That's the matchup. Very simple. If you think the wrestler gets the takedowns,
I think Ruziboev will strike a little bit.
Well, go get your plus money if you think the wrestler in the wrestler versus striker matchup gets it done. If not, Bruno Ferreira, do not spend minus 185 on Bruno Ferreira. $7,800 in DraftKings, $8,400 in DraftKings. I do think the winner of this, absolutely scores a ton of points. Bruno Ferreira, if he does what he does, he's going to put up well over 100. And Nursulton can get a whole bunch of takedowns, potentially a finish. He'll score really well as well. So whatever side you're on, I think you need one of these guys in your DraftKings lineup.
You know what my favorite bet is for this? I'll give this away. Haven't placed it for premium yet. Fight goes to a split decision. No. You know what the odds on that are?
How is that an option? What are the odds on that?
Bet Online's been adding more and more stuff.
Minus 2,000?
Minus 1,600. I think that fight goes to a split decision.
Dude, that's the type of thing.
You know what's funny?
They probably max that out. Go get a mortgage and throw it on that.
No, you know what's funny is it's probably going to be like a sloppy, they both get tired and it will go to a split decision just because I said that. And somebody in this chat's going to be like, motherfucker. Because they're going to lay money on minus 1,600.
Well, if you want to see Jacob's,
the Love Doctor, if you don't mind.
$1,600 bet to win 100, go to WeWantPicks.com and click become a member. I can't wait for somebody to comment, dude, those odds, do members really pay for that shit? We have a 99-cent super chat from JJG. Thank you very much, JJG. We appreciate it.
Nice.
I was trying to think, like, what could that acronym be? I couldn't think of anything.
Oh, man. You don't know? Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
Next up at UFC Vegas 76, we have Ismael Bonfim taking on Benoit Saint-Denis. I don't know why I said that like that. Ismael Bonfim, 19-3 overall, 5-0 in his last 5. He's coming off that big win over Terrence McKinney. He's taking on Benoit Saint-Denis, 10-1. 4-1 in his last 5, coming off the early knockout over Gabriel Miranda. Honestly, I think these odds are a bit wide. I'm surprised they're spreading out as much as they are. Make the face. I'm surprised they're spreading out as much as they are because, yes, I fully recognize that Ismael Bonfim, at least so far, is the real deal. He's a wild striker, very real power, no regard for straight punches. He's just going to march forward, throw bombs. He'll mix in flying knees, the occasional takedown. When he takes his time, he's nice and accurate. He can also have some really solid defense as well. He's an actual boxer with high-level boxing experience and high-level BJJ as well. And he just smoked Terrence McKinney in that fight. He was controlled, meaning like he was measured with what he was doing. He had takedowns, takedown defense, and heavy hands. But he's taking on Benoit Saint-Denis. 10-1. Like, this isn't a bum. This isn't. I am actually surprised that the UFC gave Benoit. I'm surprised they didn't give him somebody like. I'm surprised that they did.
Do you think
I'm not going to answer
he's so hittable, Angelo?
I'm not there yet, and I'm not going to answer your hurtful questions. And I will not going to tag the fighters in these videos. Not with you.
Oh, so we have another beta bot here.
Not with you speaking about
another
like
beta
that.
Bot. Got it.
But I'm just surprised
we've introduced an AI, and then you are the other bot.
I'm just surprised because Benoit's good. He's a very good wrestler, really well-timed shots, ton of pressure on top. And this is actual wrestling, not boring cage control wrestling, like lower his level, shoot a double, run right through you style wrestling. He does have a negative striking differential because he is very hittable. Because of the hittableness, Ishmael's got to be the pick. We know he hits like a freight train. He just did that to Terrence McKinney. But it's not like we've seen Benoit knocked out cold. Yes, he's hittable. But if that chin holds up and he works in some takedowns, we don't know what Bonfim's going to look like a little later. We don't know what just defending takedown after takedown after takedown is going to look like. He has been a decision, so it's not as though he has no cardio and all that crap. But the reality is, I think this fight is probably tougher than people are giving them credit for. Bonfim should win. He hits hard. He's got all the things. The UFC wants him to do well. I'm just surprised they didn't give him like a 18-7 kind of guy. They gave him a 10-1 prospect from a nation that they're trying to build. What do you think?
Well, and I think I kind of alluded to my own answer there. The reason they gave him Benoit Saint-Denis. And let me first off by saying I'm a big fan of Saint-Denis. When this fight was announced, I thought the exact same thing. I was like, holy shit, Benoit is a very good grappler and is tough as fucking shit. If you guys have never watched that fight against Zaleski, just got the absolute fuck beat out of him for 15 minutes. I mean, absolutely, but did not quit. I mean, if you guys did not know, this guy is a French Special Forces guy, basically the equivalent to a Navy SEAL, now an MMA fighter. There is no quit, and there's all dog in this guy. I have all the respect in the world for Benoit Saint-Denis. In my mind, I wanted to pick him when I was breaking down this fight, so I was literally actively looking for reasons to pick him in this fight. I watched that Terrence McKinney fight against Bonfim, and I was like, oh, Terrence McKinney getting on his hips. If he can get on his hips just like Terrence McKinney did. Terrence McKinney actually dragged him to the ground, was on his back a little bit. But you watch Bonfim, if you watch Bonfim in that fight and in those positions, there was no panic in that. I mean, he's just looking at his corner like, literally, I think at one point gave his corner like a thumbs up, like, yeah, I know what's going on here. Like, it's no big deal. And once he gets to the feet, his counter striking is just next level, unreal fast and unreal powerful. And Saint-Denis will throw on the feet. I mean, he is not all in on the wrestling. He will get in firefights. He will try to knock people out. The reason why he finished that fight in his last fight against Fly was he first of all, he almost got dropped by Fly. I think he did get dropped in that first round, real close to it. Obviously worked through that because he's a tough dude, but he was swinging. I mean, he was trying to knock this guy out. The second he tries to get in a firefight with Bonfim is going to land the hardest shots that Saint-Denis has ever felt in his life, and he's been cracked and he's been wobbled plenty times before. I think it's just a moment or just a matter of time is what I was looking for. Thank you. Before he is knocked out, and I think that if Bonfim's going to knock anyone out, I think it's going to be Saint-Denis. He's a very, very hittable guy. I don't think he's going to be able to have the wrestling and grappling to be able to control Bonfim. And that striking is damn. I mean, that's Jesus Christ when he hits people.
He hits super hard. I mean, he obviously hits incredibly hard. So I picked him to win. I'm not trying to pretend that I don't think he wins. I just think Benoit's a lot better than these odds are representing. And, so the Dix Insider is just constantly wrong in this live chat. He was saying the Ishmael hype is all recency bias. Nobody picked him to beat Terrence McKinney. And that's just not true. He was the favorite in that Terrence McKinney fight, and those odds took off. And I remember because I bet on Terrence McKinney, and then 2 weeks later, the odds were, I was way off. So, yeah, a lot of money came in on him.
Bonfim opened plus 111, closed at plus 105.
Okay. Well, there was a favorite at one point.
So you just got right in the. It says closing McKinney was minus 125 to minus 108. Bonfim was minus 110 to plus 105.
Because I'm positive Was there the chart in the middle? I'm positive.
Yeah,
I had McKinney.
McKinney was the favorite the entire time.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm just looking at it right now. It was a pick 'em on January 14th. But other than that, he was a favorite the whole time.
I remember being pissed.
I would apologize if I were you. That's what I do on live stream. If you can go at people as long as you apologize.
He was annoying before. We're even so far.
That's rough, man. Live stream. Sorry about that, guys. He doesn't man up like me. The
only reason that I feel that way is because I remember I bet on him, on Terrence McKinney, and then I ended up, the odds ended up closing better than what I bet on him at. But if you're saying that he closed at a minus 125, that doesn't make any sense. So, anyway. All right, well, I think Bonfim wins. He was a massive favorite. He was a massive favorite in his last fight, and he should be in this fight. And I think he gets it done. I'm not going to spend the $9,200 in DraftKings.
I was reading that comment. Ever since I got out of prison a year ago today, congratulations, by the way, I haven't missed a video, guys. I'm a Jacob fan, but I just have to say he's a freckled cocksucker for throwing 2K on Rebus. Fucking asshole.
Yikes. Lots of support, huh? Lots of support. Wow. Anyway. You going to spend the $9,200 DraftKings? You think he gets a finish, so then he's worth it?
What was the question?
The DraftKings, the $9,200 in DraftKings.
Yeah, I think I might respect Benoit enough to leave him out, honestly. He is tough as fucking shit, man.
Which was my whole point.
I think it's going to... I literally think that this could look like that Zaleski fight, or the Ezekiel, whatever that... What was his name? Zaleski, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Zaleski.
Yeah, I think it could look like that, where Bonfim just beating the absolute brakes off him for fucking 15 minutes.
Yeah. All right, well, if you want to unlock all the things, including the live movement tracker, which will be more accurate than my memory, WeWantPicks.com, only $10 a month. You unlock everything you could ever want or need to help you find your spots. You can look at my bets, see if you agree. Look at Jacob's bets, see if you agree. Look at the AI's bets, see if you agree. Find your own spots, compare them. Hey, we're going to have to keep track. I bet when all three of us agree, me, you, and the bot, it's got to be picking at 100%, right?
Me, the AI, and the bot?
Me, you,
me,
and
the AI, and the bot?
How am I a bot? It makes no sense. Somebody called me a non-playable character and thought they were
NPC,
so fucking
baby.
funny. Yeah.
You are kind of an NPC.
So I'm running this whole thing. Without me, none of this exists. I'm the actual PC.
Oh, hello there. Sign up for premium. Are you a premium member?
Next up at UFC Vegas 76, we have Ariana Lipski taking on Melissa Gatto.
Woo!
That means cat in Spanish. Ariana Lipski.
We got a couple of Brazilians here, feeling good. Do you want me to take the lead on this one?
Go ahead.
We have Brazilian Ariana Lipski taking on Brazilian former lock of the week, Melissa Gatto. And this is a matchup of desire, I would say. This is one I've been looking forward to since last Saturday night. And I'm excited for it because, do you want me to keep going over that breakdown?
No, you're messing it up. Ariana Lipski, 15-8 overall, 2-3 in her last 5. Coming off that underdog win over J.J. Aldrich that blew up a lot of people's parlays. Taking on Melissa Gatto, 8-1 overall, 3-1-1 in her last 5. She's coming off that decision loss to Tracy Cortez. This is we just talked about recency bias and how correct I was and how incorrect that guy in the chat was. This is a very recency bias pick as well. Ariana Lipski is a decent striker. She has some grappling, mostly offensive though. If she's on top, she can grapple. If she gets taken down, she struggles a little bit. She is coming off that win over J.J. Aldrich where she looked phenomenal. Her striking looked great. Wrestling looked great. She looked absolutely phenomenal.
Always does.
Skill-wise.
Always do, Ariana.
Skill-wise in that fight.
Melissa as well. Melissa always looks good too.
Melissa Gatto, primarily a grappler.
This is a tough one for me.
Primarily a grappler.
What's the love doctor gonna do on this one? Sign up to find out. $10 a month.
The love doctor. You're so annoying. Anyway, Melissa Gatto is a grappler. So where Ariana Lipski can grapple on top, Melissa Gatto's the opposite. She's best off the back, off bottom. She's throwing up arm bars, throwing things up, making things happen, sweeping, scrambling, doing all of those things. She's solid off of her back, as I mentioned. So if she's fighting a heavy wrestler, good for her. But she can be a little too comfortable at times and waiting for something that may not be there. I am going to pick Ariana Lipski here.
What?
I totally understand. It's a very clear, easy path for Melissa Gatto. Come forward, get the takedowns. You should be able to win. I totally get that. And we've seen Ariana finished on the ground before. I totally get all of those things. But she looked so good in her last fight against JJ Aldrich, who, yes, she did not look good. But JJ Aldrich is well-rounded, fought some of the better people in the division. And Ariana Lipski is solid. Like, she looked good. She always had the techniques. Now she's putting them together. Melissa Gatto's coming off a little bit of a layoff. I think Ariana Lipski can win this fight. I mean, this is an insanely low-confident pick. And I've been flirting with a plus 3.5 bet. My only concern is she could probably get finished, and then I lose that bet. But plus 3.5 is not terrible. If you don't know what that is, you're basically buying 3.5 points on the judges' scorecards, and all that comes down to is Ariana Lipski needs to win just one single round. Just one round on the judges' scorecard.
Minus 105. It's what those odds are.
I'll wait on that. It's not worth minus money. I mean, these odds continue to widen, so we'll see. But that's why 100% recency bias, 100% recency bias. But she looked good. And everybody's going to say, well, JJ looked bad. JJ looking bad doesn't account for Ariana's striking. Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. What's
Both
up,
things
Jake?
can be true. I'm so smart. It's crazy. I'm so smart. Ariana and Melissa, charming, tall, handsome, funny.
Tall? Funny? We're just making shit up.
I actually the reason why I reacted was because I could not believe that you saw this fight the same way that I saw this fight, because I'm on Ariana's side too.
Oh, I thought you were making fun.
I have all the respect in the world for Melissa Gatto. She's a former Lock of the Week winner. And if this, as Angel mentioned, if she gets this fight to the ground, she gets back control, whatever it is, if there's any grappling at all, Melissa Gatto is probably going to be able to control this fight, because, Ariana Lipski doesn't have the wrestling that Tracy Cortez has. That was what was able to stifle the grappling of Melissa Gatto. By the way, Tracy Cortez Instagram lately, holy fuck! You're not really on that type of. But if you guys in the live chat, if you guys do not follow Tracy Cortez on Instagram, the last few days have been. She's in Brazil. She posted a video today of her going down this water slide. She's with Paulo Costa, living her life in Brazil. It's like, holy fuck! Got me. Jesus Christ. What was I talking about? Oh, Melissa Gatto in that fight was out wrestled by Tracy Cortez, and Ariana Lipski's not going to have that type of wrestling, but Melissa Gatto doesn't have the greatest takedowns, and you saw the improved takedown defense from Ariana against JJ. Now, Melissa is going to be a little bit more aggressive in her takedowns than JJ was, but you saw the technique behind the takedowns. It wasn't just like she was able to defend it. She was defending it the way you should defend it. She was stuffing the head. She was getting the underhook. She was circling out. She was doing everything you're supposed to do. And Melissa Gatto really isn't shooting singles and doubles. It's a lot of just kind of body lock and try to muscle you to the ground. And if you have technique against people that try those takedowns, you should be able to defend those takedowns. And if she defends those takedowns, I believe that she is going to be the better striker in this matchup. She was very, very clean in her last matchup. She's always been a pretty good striker, but as Angel mentioned, she looked very, very sharp on the feet. And I think she's going to be the better matchup, or the better striker in this matchup. I think it's going to end up being a mostly striking matchup. And I'll take the dog here in Ariana Lipski. Obviously, if Melissa's able to get a takedown, all that analysis goes out the window, as Angel and I just mentioned. But if this stays on the feet, I think she's the better striker. It's as simple as that.
I hear you. I am surprised we're on the same side. When you said what, I thought you were making fun of me. That's why I got a little defensive.
I would never make fun of you. Hey, I would never make fun of you.
I appreciate that. People in the live chat are making fun of me right now for some reason, saying I'm probably wearing ugly sandals.
Birkenstocks or whatever. Birkenstocks.
I'm barefoot. I'm in my own home. Why would I be wearing sandals?
Show the bottom of your feet. Let's see how dirty the bottom of your feet are.
No, they're clean. I'm not showing my feet.
I bet they are.
Hold on, let me see.
Holy shit.
Very clean.
God.
Very clean.
Oh, you could even. I mean, you're not that flexible.
I'm very flexible.
Not
anyway. $7,500 to $8,700. I have to look a little closer at Ariane Lipski's recent scores because I don't think she scores well.
No, I wouldn't do it.
In wins. She's probably just pot shots all day, and that's about it. So probably not worth the money. But if you're all over the Melissa Gatto side, as most people are, hence that line movement.
The chat, the fastest move tonight is asking you for feet pics right now.
Oh, 100%. That same dude that wants you to one bite bananas wants to
my
see
dude Farang. That's my dude, baby. Now he's all over you. You've gained his attention. Show feet. That's all he said. All lowercase too.
Tell you what, guys, I'll be at UFC 290. The wife got me cage side tickets
for
my birthday. Any of you come up to me, recognize you, say something, I'll show you my feet right there in the spot. I'll show you my feet.
Should I get one ticket too? We can all go, but I'll just be.
Tiffany literally said, Tiffany, she texted that to you, didn't she? What? She literally said there's a couple seats behind us on the floor that are available. Do you think Jacob wants to come? I was like, I promise you Jacob doesn't want to come. I promise you Jacob
I went to 285. I don't know if you guys know that I actually went to
you third wheel it with me?
UFC 285. Had the time of my life. Met Amanda. Great times.
Cool. Yeah, you're probably leaving these out in DraftKings. I'll take a closer look. But if you are on the Melissa Gatto side, then $8,700 is not a ton of money because if she wins, it will be takedowns, potentially a submission. But we're on the other side, and if you want all the DraftKings tools you could ever need, or you don't necessarily know what DraftKings Fantasy is and you want to learn a little bit about it, WeWantPicks.com, become a premium member. You can take our beginner's guide to DraftKings course. It's going to walk you through what it is, how it works, how to build lineups, how the scoring works, all that, anything you can need to really get started. And I'll tell you right now.
You're going to 291.
I'm going to 290 next week.
I thought that was in Boston.
No, I'm going to Vegas.
Oh, man, I think you guys fucked up.
Why would I go to Boston?
Well, next week's in
Boston.
Boston.
Sucks.
Anyway. It's not good.
Okay. You think you're just going to trick me right now? Like
I don't think you know where you're going.
Okay. Next up at UFC Vegas 76, we got Max Griffin taking on Michael Morales in a very talked about fight with almost no. Can you check the odds right now? There was no line movement.
Why don't you get your fucking bot to do it?
It will. It does all that. It scrapes the internet. Pulls down
let's see it. I'd love to see it.
Anyway, and people are calling you out 291s in Utah, you fucking muppet. Anyway,
it's a
Max Griffin.
It's a prank.
Max Griffin, 19-9.
Plus 210.
Really? Wow, that line took off. 19-9 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that win over Tim Means. He broke his hand early and had to turn into a wrestler. Taking on Michael Morales. This guy is undefeated, and he's coming off a knockout win over Adam Fugit. Max Griffin, he's a powerful striker. He's got some incredible knockouts on his record, but he's not just a striker. He's a solid grappler as well. He's averaging about 2 takedowns per fight. He took down Alex Morono 4 times in a loss, Elim Imedov 6 times in a win, and most recently he took down Tim Means 3 times, and that's because he broke his hand and was like, oh shit, I need to wrestle. Taking on Michael Morales. This dude is a beast and has an incredible resume. Freestyle wrestling national champion out of Ecuador. Muay Thai national champion out of Ecuador. He's got great footwork, great jab, nice loose boxing. It allows him to sort of working out really well. His takedowns are solid. They're clean, mostly throws and trips though. This is going to be a fun fight, and we're going to find out how good Michael Morales is. Because Max Griffin's not soft. He's not a guy you're just going to push around, do whatever you want to do to. Max Griffin will stand there. He'll bomb away. He's got decent takedown defense. Max Griffin could make this a tough fight. I do think Michael Morales wins, right? Michael Morales is a good amount younger, has all the credentials, has a decent amount of experience, right? It's a little bit of a hollow record, but I think Michael Morales should win, but I don't... Max Griffin's got that veteran savvy, strong, powerful guy. He has multiple ways to win other fights. So Michael Morales will win, and I just would caution you to the people who have... I hear that too. What is that?
What was that?
Dude, you live in such a fucking shit neighborhood that I hear the sirens through your window. So that tells me two things, Jacob. First of all, your neighborhood is shit and the police are there. Second of all, your windows are shit and I could hear cop cars.
I mean, there's a main road right there.
Oh, great. So you live in a shitty apartment complex off the main road? How close are the train tracks?
What's going on?
How close are the train tracks?
Why are you treating me like this?
How close are the train tracks?
Why are you treating me? I'm just sitting here, I'm trying to do breakdowns.
Just become a premium member so this dude could buy that plastic that you put over the windows in the winter so that the cold air doesn't come in. We had to do that growing up. Did you have to do that growing up? So you didn't grow up poor, you just ended up poor. That sucks. Who do you think wins this fight?
I still don't understand why you just went in this fucking 6-minute tangent of just trashing me. I was just sitting here quietly. I didn't know where. I was like, oh, those are sirens. I took my headphones off. I couldn't tell. Because actually it's kind of funny. I was like, are those, can I hear those through his thing? Because it sounded like it was coming from your end. So I was about to do the same thing that you did to me. I literally was like, and then I heard the sirens. I was like, fuck. He's going to say something. I knew he was going to fucking say something. Piece of shit.
There hasn't been a siren in this neighborhood since God knows what, Jakey boy.
Wasn't there like a murder or something?
That was not in this town.
That was across the street. The only thing that's happened here is a guy jumped off his balcony last year. Fucking killed himself.
A pedophile, so I think we should all applaud that.
Was it? Was that the same?
Yeah.
No, that wasn't the same guy.
It was
just.
I
think that was just. I think that was just a circumstance. I think that was just. They must have been having a sale that weekend or something. It was just a 2-for-1 or something like that.
All right, go ahead. What do you think?
BOGO, buy one get one. I don't know. I'm telling you right now. This is the parlay buster. I really fully believe that this is the parlay buster, and I believe that Max Payne Griffin is going to win this fight. And I think it's going to look like in my prediction of the David Onama Nate Landwehr fight. David Onama was a very, very talented guy. Came into that fight, had success early, but he fought a guy that was very durable, that knew what he was doing, that had power in his hands, but could also wrestle, and eventually wore down David Onama in that fight. I think the same thing happens here. I think Michael Morales comes in, he's having success, he's doing his thing, hands low, landing some power shots, maybe hurts Max at some point, but Max is a very, very durable guy, and he can wrestle when he gets into tough positions, and I don't think Michael Morales is really to that level yet. He's still 23 years old, he's still a kid, and he still fights like a kid. I mean, he is very reliant on that right hand, and for good reason, right? I mean, he's knocking everyone out with it, but he's got a great jab, and if he would come into this fight and just pump the jab and kind of take his time with that right hand, I think he can definitely dominate this fight, but he still fights like a kid. He comes in there, he has fun, he does some weird capoeira stuff sometimes, but he loads up that right hand and he does get tired. He does slow down. He does fade. He doesn't quit up to this point because nobody's really pushed him when those moments have happened, and he plays it off well too, right? He hides his fatigue, right, with his smile, and he has the antics. He knows how to play the game, but I think Max Griffin comes in, survives the first round, much like Nate Landwehr survived the first round against David Onama. I hope it's not quite that violent because I had Nate Landwehr in that fight and it looked like he was down and out. So I hope he can just kind of survive a little bit, more successful than Nate Landwehr did, but I think he has an opportunity to control the second and third rounds of this fight and win this fight. I think this is a very dangerous fight for a guy like Michael Morales, who is a young kid, relies on his power, and if he can't put people away, he will fade, and Max is a veteran. He knows how to get people to the ground. He knows how to stay safe, and he's got power in his own right, too. So I'm going out on a limb here, and I'm saying Max Griffin survives that first round, wins the next two. Obviously, if he gets knocked out in the first round, just kind of like Nate Landwehr, if he got knocked out in the first round, I wasn't going to be super surprised. But, Max is a tough dude, man. And I don't think Michael's quite there yet. 23, 24, whatever he is.
24, yeah. Yeah, obviously we disagree on the pick, but I do agree that Max Griffin is much tougher outing than these odds would imply. And the general sentiment I'm seeing in the comment section and everywhere is like, Michael Morales being your parlays. I just, it's a fist fight. Anything could happen. Actually, let me see who the AI picked. I'm not going to disclose it. I'm just curious for my own good right now.
Yeah, let me look too.
You don't know how to look. Oh, I sent you a picture.
Well, it's in premium, so I can just look at that.
Oh, yeah. That's probably faster than what I'm doing.
It's fucking clueless.
Oh, I know what it's doing. Yeah, I already know. I don't need to look at it because I know the inputs. Anyway, $7,200 in DraftKings, $9,000 in DraftKings. It's a tough spot to be in, man, because if Michael Morales wins, history will say he'll win by finish. And $9,000, you're going to get more than 90 points out of him, and that's what you're looking for. But Max Griffin's a dog, $7,200. Probably one of the tougher underdogs on here. I'm not going to have Max Griffin in my lineup, and I may consider Michael Morales. What about you?
I think I'm going to stay away from it completely because, maybe Max is able to get some takedowns and kind of earn his worth for that $7,200 if he gets some takedowns late and it goes to a decision, but he's got 4 or 5 takedowns, something like that. But it still is pretty risky for DraftKings.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting DraftKings card. There's a lot of big favorites on this card. And
fight goes to a split decision. Yes, for plus 450.
That's it? Oh, I guess.
I mean, you can get Max Griffin wins a split decision for plus 900. Heard it here first.
Yeah, congrats. WeOwnPicks.com. Become a member. It's only $10, and you'll find out if Jacob places that or any other ridiculous bets. But we also have
only God can judge.
Tools and information and other things like that available with that premium membership. Next up, at UFC Vegas 76, we have the co-main event of the evening. We have Damir Ismagulov taking on Grant Dawson. This is actually a very solid matchup with 2 incredible records here and a clash of styles. Damir Ismagulov, 24-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that loss to Arman Saruki, and he's taking on Grant Dawson, 19-1 overall, 4-0-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that win over Mark Madsen. And this is an interesting fight. Full-blown line movement. This is the only fight on the card where the underdog has become the favorite, and you can see those odds here. Damir Ismagulov is very good. He's good everywhere, and he has cardio to back it all up. He's a smart fighter. He makes adjustments throughout the fight. He uses his length and range for striking, and then he'll work in takedowns when he needs them. He's got wins over Thiago Moises, Joel Alvarez, where he was just a dominant striker. Then he's got wins over Alex Corgis, Rafael Alves, where he worked in his wrestling. And while he is very dominant, he's not a finisher. This guy is a decision machine. He's taking on Grant Dawson. This dude's a grappler, averaging almost 4 takedowns per fight. He's got a great ground game with just relentless pressure. Technical striking, but his clear advantage in almost every fight is going to be on the ground. He started at 145. He's worked his way up to 55, but he's not small. They always want to talk about how he started his career at 45, but you wouldn't know that because he looks very normal sized.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, very normal sized.
He's probably going to be bigger than me, honestly.
Well, he's coming off that win over Olympic wrestler Mark Madsen, where he had takedowns, plenty of control, and that's the easy narrative here. The easy narrative is Damir Ismagulov was just out-wrestled by Arman Sarukian, and Grant Dawson just out-wrestled an Olympic wrestler, so Grant Dawson's going to win. It's a very easy narrative. It's a logical narrative. I understand it, but I just disagree. I just think, if you're going to compare Grant Dawson to Arman Sarukian, I think that's a bit of a stretch. And then you're going to compare Damir to Mark Madsen. I get it. Mark Madsen was an Olympic wrestler, but he's 38 years old. He doesn't even use his wrestling that much. And anybody who has ever tried to take down Mark Madsen in the UFC has. He doesn't have a fight where he's defended every takedown. Doesn't have one. So I think that's too much of a shortcut of a narrative. People are buying into it, hence the flip and the line movement. I think Damir wins this fight. I think his striking is too good. I think his takedown defense should absolutely hold up. My one and only concern is that weird drama with he retired, he came back, he only has 1 fight left. That drama actually is weird to me, which is the only reason I haven't really jumped on the Damir train. But I do think he wins this fight, and I think the takedown defense and the striking is going to hold up. His striking is fantastic. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, let me preface this by saying that I'm a big Damir guy. I love Damir. I was touting him as the next champion, basically. I mean, I think he is at that level, or at least was at that level, with just the overall well-roundedness. And I thought that he was going to actually, like, kind of smoke Armin, because I knew that he could defend the takedowns, right? He defended more takedowns than he was taken down against Armin. Defended 14-some takedowns. And when he was taken down, I mean, popped right back up. There was a couple times where Armin was able to get control. Actually, at one point, he hit a nice switch or a trip straight into full mount on Armin. So he was full mount on Armin. So he knows what he's doing, and he's a very well-rounded fighter. But there's a few things that worry me in this fight. And first, let me talk about Grant Dawson, too. In that Mark Madsen fight, people want to talk about how he was controlling the grappling of that Mark Madsen fight. The reason it went to the ground in the first round was because he got knocked down. I mean, in the first 30 seconds, he got knocked down. I don't want to say almost finished, but he was knocked down, was able to get on the legs of Mark Madsen while he was like trying to chase a finish on the knockdown. There was a scramble. He was able to get control. Second round, he gets this single leg that Mark Madsen's trying to pull his leg out of, and Grant Dawson literally is hugging his leg, being dragged across the octagon, holding onto an ankle, and still somehow got that takedown. So that credit to his relentlessness, but also to some of that, like, nonsense type wrestling. Obviously, it worked, and he was holding onto the ankle, and he kept the ankle, and he got the takedown from it. But against a guy like Damir, I don't think that type of stuff's going to work. And the third one was, I think it was a leg kick or something that dropped Marco Madsen, and then he jumped on him, and that's how he was able to controlling. So it wasn't like he was getting all these singles and blast doubles against this Olympic type wrestler in the grappling. But there are some things that worry me. Angelo mentioned Damir, his first time losing a fight after 19 straight wins, retires. I'm done. Retires. He said it was for health reasons, and it could be because of you'll see when he fights, he's got a tick with his face. You'll see him always keep closing his right eye, and maybe that's increasing. Maybe it was affecting him in the fight, and he was like, maybe that's why I can't continue, or maybe but he literally said it's for health reasons. But that is a concern, too. After you have this long streak, you're in the UFC, you lose to a decision to one of the top guys in the division, and you're just like, I think I'm done. Oh, wait, I have one more fight on my contract. Okay, I'll fight one more time. The other red flag is both these guys have been at ATT. Grant Dawson is an ATT guy through and through. Damir kind of finishes his camp sometimes at ATT. So I imagine they're somewhat familiar with each other. What does Grant Dawson know to be so comfortable to take a fight against a guy at this level? Because if this was the Damir before the Armin fight, if this was Damir coming off that Guram fight, he would be minus fucking 300 versus Grant Dawson. If nobody saw Damir fight Armin and those takedowns and all the grappling and stuff, he would be minus 300 versus Grant Dawson. He is at that high of level. So what does Grant Dawson know to where he is comfortable enough in this fight? And what do the odds makers and the people putting money on Grant Dawson know as well? Because Damir is the overall better fighter. He's got the wrestling. He can defend the takedowns. He is the better striker. So what is going on, and what is this line doing? And the other thing that worries me on the Damir side is this. Yes, he was defending the takedowns, and he was getting back to his feet against Armin. But a lot of that fight was Armin controlling him against the cage. Damir never really had space to work the striking. And yeah, he was not getting taken down, but Grant Dawson is a strong dude. We mentioned the size of Grant Dawson. He's not like a small guy. I think he's maybe bigger than Damir in there. There is a world where Grant Dawson doesn't get the takedowns. He doesn't get the back control, the grappling, but he wins this fight just from cage control alone because Damir could not get Armin off him. He could not physically get Armin off his hips against the cage. And there is a world where Grant Dawson just so relentless, he's able to win this decision. But I got to stick with my guy Damir here. He is the better overall fighter. He should, in my mind, kind of dominate this fight. I thought that he would be a minus 250 favorite. I understand, I guess, why the odds are moving, but, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I hear like I said, I agree. I agree with everything you said, and it's that retirement, unretirement. That whole thing is what concerned me. That's the one thing that I'm like, it's a little weird. But he is an underdog, and I hope that keeps moving because Damir at legit plus money, that might be worth it. And I don't see a finish in this fight either. I do have a
legally, he is an underdog right now.
He could be the lock of the week. He is an underdog.
He is an underdog right now.
I think I do have a bet on Grant Dawson, though. I did inside the distance decision, no action, because Damir is not a finisher. He's not a finisher at all. Grant Dawson is a finisher. I think Damir wins this fight. I fully expect a refund on that bet, but I'm going to cover my bases just in case.
I would.
I know you disagree.
Yeah, Grant is. I don't see him. Even if he gets the back control stuff, Demir knows what he's doing to stay safe. And people that don't want to get submitted, it's really hard to submit people that don't want to get submitted. On the flip side too, Grant was knocked down by Mark Madsen, who isn't like a super powerful guy. It was kind of a weird kind of glancing shot. And Demir's as technical as it gets when it comes to accuracy. He doesn't have a lot of power, but if you get accuracy on a guy with a suspect chin, I don't know if Grant does or not, but we might find out this fight.
Well, I just like those bets. Listen, I hit that exact same bet with
the flip side of that is plus 160. I actually like that better. Demir inside the distance decision, no action. Because I don't think it's going to get finished.
They're both plus money.
No, they're not. You got Grant Dawson's minus
150 or something like that, minus 120. I had the exact same bet on. I just said his name and now I'm forgetting.
I had it on Phil Rowe. I had
David Onama.
I had it on Phil Rowe.
I had the exact same bet on David Onama because I look at it. Well, this guy's the much more dangerous fighter. This guy doesn't finish fights. Boom. I fully expect a refund, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, $8,200 in DraftKings, $8,000 in DraftKings. I'll have to look at what Demir is scoring in wins. I think it's a pick your side kind of fight because if Demir wins, he's just defending takedowns, potentially getting his own takedowns, should be dominant. I don't think this is a close fight. I think whoever wins, wins. I don't think it's going to be that close of a fight. Because if Demir's defending I think if Demir's defending these takedowns early, Grant's going to get real desperate and then just get lit up. The shots are going to be from farther away, fewer setups. It's going to get bad. But if Grant's getting the takedowns, the control time is going to rack up. He's got great control. So I think it's a pick your side kind of fight for DraftKings. If you want to check out the optimizer and everything else, weonpicks.com, just $10 a month. Next up, at UFC Vegas 76, we have the main event of the evening. We have Sean Strickland, everybody's favorite white trash boy, taking on Abus Magomedov. Sean Strickland, 26-5 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, and he's coming off that really busy win over Nasruddin Imavov. He's taking on Abus Magomedov, 25-4 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that super quick win over Dustin Stoltzfus. This is an interesting.
Not that week.
I was going to say he was.
No, not that week. That's my favorite stat for lock of the week. Is Dustin Stoltzfus is 1-4 in his UFC career, and his one win was when he was lock of the week.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
It's a curse, the lock of the week curse.
And that was like he didn't wrestle Dwight Grant until the very end. I was like, what the fuck is he doing? And finally picked Dwight Grant over his head, slammed him down, won the 3rd round. Boom.
Great. Yeah, what a nice trip down memory lane that was. Sean Strickland, we all know him at this point. I like to call him a blue-collar striker. He just walks forward, throws punches. They're not loaded with power. He's not turning his hips. He's just coming forward, just straight out punches. Not really incredible head movement, just nice volume, good forward pressure, and he just will not stop. He's just not going to stop coming forward. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because he actually has solid defense. You'll see that here in the...
It's just very subtle.
Yeah.
He just sticks out and they're just subtle, parry.
5.76.
It looks like me on Fight Night back in the day. Ooh, I was good at Fight Night back in the day. You play that? Okay. The boxing game? PS2?
Just a little bit, not too much.
Ooh.
I'm a little older than you, so we were more Nintendo 64, and then by after that, you're a little too old for video games because I'm not a dork. Sean Strickland, that insane volume I just showed you, almost 6 significant strikes per minute, fantastic takedown defense at 85%, and he's coming off that win over Nasruddin Imavov where he landed 182 significant strikes, and he had a takedown. And we talked about earlier with the Ariana Lipski and JJ Aldrich that both things can be true. One fighter looked good and one looked awful. Nasruddin looked awful in that fight. He did not look like himself in that fight. The Nasruddin that fought Chris Curtis looked much better than the Nasruddin that fought Sean Strickland. He's taking on Abus Magomedov. Abus is a powerful guy, versatile striker. He's got wrestling in his back pocket as well. Really sneaky power because he never looks like he's throwing big shots, but when he connects, people are just down. He's really long. He does a great job using that length to counter. And what he does a great job of doing is just keeping people at the end of his strikes. He's going to throw everything from tight hooks to looping. He's just can be a little bit hittable, but we haven't seen that so far yet in the UFC because the stats I'm about to show you are absolutely insane. He only needed 7 strikes to put out Dustin Stoltzfus in that fight. This is a super, super tough fight to pick. The odds are starting to tighten a little bit. This graphic was done this morning. I saw somebody in the live chat say that Abus is down to plus 125. So that's
126, 126, 126.
126. Okay, so it's starting to tighten a little bit, and that makes sense to me because Sean Strickland isn't amazing at any one particular thing. He's very busy. He's super tough. He's never going to back down. He's just going to keep moving forward, being busy and tough. That's who he's going to be. So if you can circle well, if you can keep him at the end of your punches, if you want to try to back him up, if you can take him down, the forward pressure doesn't matter. And I think Abus can do those things. Depends what he wants to do, but I think he can do those things. I think he can defend against that forward pressure by circling, by working in takedowns. He's dumb long. How tall is this dude? He's 6'2", but he's got a 78-inch reach, and he uses it well because he likes to lean forward, nice long stance. I like Abus. What?
My reach is 75 inches. I have very long arms.
Congratulations. You scratch your knees standing up. I think Abus gets this done. I got a small money line bet at him at that plus 145. And maybe I just have some bias in me where I think Sean Strickland's a little overrated, but I think Abus gets it done. I think there's just too many tools in his bag where Sean Strickland only has the one, and it's just forward pressure and volume. Where Abus can work towards other things if he wants to. He's got the OV in the last name, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some wrestling. So I think Abus is going to get it done. Anybody? Well, I'll say this last piece after. What do you think, Jakey boy?
I almost went into like the full booty, booty, booty. Somebody said Bubba Sparks all day. And then I said, booty, 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 booty. Bubba Sparks, what a fucking legend. Are you too old for Bubba?
No, I remember Bubba Sparks.
I bet you do. So Sean Strickland is a guy that we know what he is. And Angelo said exactly what he is. I mean, he is just that kind of sparring, boxing, plot forward, throw the jab, throw a couple combinations, walk you down and kind of wear you down. And this is I almost see this exactly like the Phil Rowe Neil Magny fight. I said, if Phil Rowe just stays at distance and boxes guy, Neil Magny wanted to do one thing. That was put his back against the fence, engage in the grappling, the clinching, and work those positions. And Phil Rowe, for whatever reason, fought the fight that Neil Magny needed for Neil Magny to win. And that turned into the most Neil Magny fight you've ever seen in your life. The same thing happened in the Ivanov fight. Ivanov came in and fought the Sean Strickland fight. I believe that Ivanov was thinking, oh my God, 5 rounds. I know this guy can go 5 rounds. He's going to have pace. He's going to have pressure. I need to pace myself. I need to kind of work my combinations, but stay at space and really kind of pace myself for 5 rounds. And if you try to outpace yourself and outpace Sean Strickland in a 5-round match, you're probably not going to win. Just like if you try to engage in the clinching with Neil Magny, you're probably not going to win that fight. And the good news is, or what I believe the good news is for this fight, is Abus Magomedov is not going to try and pace himself. He's not going to come in there and just slowly spar and throw a jab out against Sean Strickland and dance around and think, oh my God, he's got cardio. I'm going to try and win a decision. He's going to go in there and try and knock his fucking head off. He's going to go in there and either get a takedown and control that or knock his head off. And against a guy like Sean Strickland, that's what you have to do. You can't fight Sean Strickland like Sean Strickland wants to fight. You can't just spar this guy. He's too good. That's what he does literally like 24/7. He's just sparring. So if you get in a sparring match, you're probably going to lose. But I believe that Abus is dynamic enough and dangerous enough and has enough power to get in the face, kind of slow Sean Strickland's pace and pressure down, get him working backwards, and then Sean Strickland just turns into just kind of a normal guy in that type of fight. But if you want to just pace yourself for 5 rounds, you're probably going to lose. I don't think Abus is going to do that. I think he's going to get in his face, find the shot, and Sean Strickland could be getting exposed here once again, kind of like that Pereira fight. But I'm going with Abus here. I don't feel super great about it, but just because Sean is, he gets people to fight him the way that he wants to fight, just like Neil Magny, man. They just do it. I don't know why, but they do it. I'm going Abus.
They trick you into think you can beat them, do it. That's all it is. Neil Magny tricked Phil into, hey, you could out-grapple me, and then he couldn't. And then Sean Strickland tricks people into, hey, you're hitting me a little bit. Couple live chat comments on the stats here on Abus. 22.11 strikes landed per minute. That is what the UFC does. He only landed 7 strikes. He has only landed 7 strikes in the UFC. They take that number, they see how long did it take to land 7, and then they do the math to say, well, this is how many he's landing per minute. So he hasn't even landed 22. That's just a calculation. They do the same thing with takedowns. If you get 2 takedowns in a minute, well, they're going to be like, well, this dude is landing 30 takedowns per fight. And then the 0 strikes absorbed per... Yeah, that's correct. He was not hit. 0 strikes absorbed. Done.
Poor Dustin.
Yeah, that sucked for him. $8,500 in DraftKings, $7,700 in DraftKings. You do get 5 rounds here. If you like Sean Strickland and you think he's just typical Sean Strickland, take a look at what he's done in that Jared Cannonier fight and in the Nasruddin. Take a look at what he's done in those longer fights. And if you like those numbers and you think he wins, throw him in your lineup. I like Abus to win this fight. $7,700. I'm going to go on that side. I'll probably have him in my lineup, get him in a little bit of a discount. You going to have him in yours?
I will say for premium, you're probably going to enjoy this. We did get a line very early on the Abu side. I mean, you can't get any more, so I don't mind saying it. It's inside the distance decisional action. I got that at plus money. Was it plus 20? Is that what I got it at? Something like that? You know what that line is right now? And we got that early for our premium members. And I think that's a good bet. I think that he can, maybe, I guess with 5 rounds, Sean Strickland could finish him late with some TKO or something like that. But I think he's the more dangerous guy, and we've seen Sean Strickland just kind of pitter-patter for 5 rounds. I got it for plus 120. That line now is minus 160. So
I got it at minus 120 maybe 10 minutes after you. So it moved quick.
Become a premium member today. It's only $10 a month. Oh, by the way, Fight Talk only. My bad this week. Early card. Rebus thing I think threw me off, but he does Fight Talk only, does all those Twitter. I always send you those compilations where he tags a bunch of people, then puts them in. A lot of fun. Sorry about that, buddy.
Cool.
Well, he asked you to do it, but you're gonna ignore him.
He said he's tagged me in it. I've never seen that shit, but yeah.
I've never seen it. It's super disrespectful. He literally is like what you want the community to be. He's like the great example of like community. We're not like against each other. We're all just kind of part of the same atmosphere. He brings us all together. He makes a nice little graphic for fights. So follow Fight Talk only on Twitter if you guys don't already. Good guy.
Do you have a sponsorship on the side or something?
No, he's a good guy. I'll shout out good guys.
A little sketchy. WeOwnPicks.com, become a premium member. We're good guys too. Support us. And if you want $50, I will support you. I'll help you feed your children. I'll help you buy those extra costumes in your Fortnite video game, whatever the hell you people do with this money. I'll send you $50.
They're called skins.
I'll say, yeah, there it is. He knew. I'll send you $50. All you need to do is go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up with any one of our betting partners, and I will send you $50 as a thank you. It's funny. I just did that. I do that to my nephews because they don't think they play Fortnite anymore, but they would stay here, bring the Xbox, play Fortnite, and my brother-in-law would tell me how he wanted to buy, and I'd always be like, "Oh, did you buy the cute outfit for your guy?"
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and let you trash Fortnite because Fortnite was a big part of my life, and I would still play it all the time.
It brought me actual joy to do that.
I fucking love Fortnite, so I have no issues with
that. Sam Pierce said, I didn't see your super chat. Just ask your question right now and I'll answer it. You don't need to send more money. Thank you for.
Oh yeah, I said that. I actually told him in chat that I was like, I got you. I'll remember to say it. Then I fucking forgot about it too. I'm trying to hold on.
Hurry up! Type fast! I'm scrolling. I don't see it. Oh, here it is. Nope, that's not for him. This guy asked if you ever played Def Jam. I did not.
Fight for New York City. You know one of the greatest PlayStation 2 games of all time was, I swear to God, was 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying video game. It was so much fun. I love that. I love that game. That movie
Never played it.
I've literally watched that movie probably 50 times. I can quote that entire fucking movie.
Congratulations. Thank you for the $2 super chat. I'm scrolling. Damn, you guys were active in these comments.
It was a long time ago. No, it was. You're not going to find it. It was like a long time ago.
Is he typing it?
Yeah, he said it right now. Will the AI make DraftKings picks winners eventually?
Yeah, so the AI, that's how it started. I asked him to make the AI. He actually came to me with a DraftKings. It's not an optimizer. What an optimizer does is the optimizer takes the ownership projections, takes the scoring projections, and then the salaries, and it says, okay, based on these salaries and these price points and how many points you think they'll score, this should be your lineup. And optimizers are very successful. He built a tool that actually simulates the fights. So he takes all the fighter data, the exact same data in the AI, takes all the fighter data, has these people fight, and then it spits out, the winners who wins the fights essentially, and then takes the salaries and based off of that builds lineups. So he has that tool. I said, listen, this is a complicated tool to sell. We got to figure out how to even get it on the website. We got to figure out
just because you don't understand something doesn't mean that other people won't.
It only applies to people who do large tournaments, right? You're not going to use it to build a couple lineups. So it's sort of a different audience. I said, can you use the same logic that's simulating these fights to pick fight winners? If you can, let's build up this pick doctor persona, build up this AI to pick fights. Once people are comfortable with that and the pick doctor is an established entity, then we can say, oh, guess what else this nuclear physicist
But
has
wait,
designed.
There's more.
So that's the next.
Just set it and forget it.
$10 a month, you get access to the Pick Doctor, which is beta. Let me warn you over and over and over. It is beta, but also things like the line movement tracker, the detailed data, metrics, and analytics, the courses. People don't know what DraftKings is or how DraftKings Fantasy works. Do the course. It's going to help you. It's going to teach you. You're going to learn about the scoring and how to build lineups and what all these acronyms are, GPP, what any of that crap means. That's all there. Beginner's guide is out, ready to go. And as mentioned, we have analysts.
My God.
What?
I mean, their own page and everything, huh?
Yeah, it's a personality. If you guys don't remember, it went 11-1 last weekend on picks. It picked 100% of the underdogs, 100% of the favorites. The only fight it missed was a straight-up pick'em, which was Chepe Mariscal. But become a premium member today. It's only $10 a month.
That fucking piece of shit all day.
Well, and the beauty of Artem is he's breaking down PFL, LFA, Bellator, and all the other fight promotions that none of us, including the AI, are doing.
I'm not losing my job. Quit saying I'm losing my job. Not yet. We got to wait and see. We got to wait and see.
At least a couple of cards to find out how accurate this is.
The second it can make a music video, maybe.
They already have AI. Ask Drake. They already have AI making music videos. Anyway, weonpicks.com. Become a premium member. Guys, we ballooned up to almost 400 people live. Thank you.
Live stream Saturday. I'm going to open some cards before we go live too, or before the fights. I'm live. I'll go live earlier. We're going to open up some cards and have some fun and get naked and all that good stuff.
Sounds like fun. Hey guys, and have fun watching Jacob open cards on Saturday. See you there.